Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Body, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's up, film family? Welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott.
I'm Dion.
And it is here. Ladies and gentlemen, Sinners. Ryan Coogler's brand new period horror is finally here. This is one of my most anticipated releases of the new series. What am I saying? New year. I was going to say new series, but that's not that's not a thing.
I don't know.
Slate? New slate?
Okay.
There you go. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I was going to
yeah.
say new slate.
Of the year?
Of the year.
I thought you were just going to say that.
That's what I should have said.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know. One of my most anticipated. I'm a big Coogler fan.
Yeah.
We just watched it.
Yep.
And we're about to break it down. We're going to go through the whole movie. So I'm going to throw in a spoiler warning right now. If you haven't seen the movie and you're not looking for spoilers, this is not the podcast for you. Go watch it, then come back. And after we go through the movie, we're going to get to our Filmmies. So that's our award show that we do at the end of every episode. And so before we get to your thoughts on the movie, I was just curious about your theater experience a little bit.
Okay.
So one, was it a packed house? Was there a lot of people there? Because like I said, a highly anticipated movie.
Yeah.
And also like the IMAX thing, because they shot it with two different cameras, two different styles of IMAX, the different aspect ratios. Like, did you notice that on your viewing?
Yeah, because I ended up watching in the IMAX.
Okay.
And which was great. I wanted to watch it in the 70mm because I know there was limited. There's literally only like 10 locations like in the world that have the 70mm. And one of them is in Toronto. The location that they do have it in is far from my house. Okay. So it just didn't work out with like finishing work and being able to see the movie on time. Right. It was too far of a distance. So didn't have time to see that. But I ended up seeing an IMAX and it was crazy seeing it in that. I'm assuming I know you did because you also got a poster.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got a poster behind me I got for free actually that they were just handing out at the theater. That was pretty cool. I mean, you got to see this in IMAX. Yeah. It's shot for IMAX. And there was that cool promo video that Coogler did.
Yeah, with Kodak.
Yeah. Where he explained all the different film reels and all the different aspect ratios. That was pretty cool. I didn't know that. Yeah,
the only reason I actually did, the only first time I heard about this was because Nolan kind of did something similar for Oppenheimer because he shot on 70mm. So he didn't break it down like that. Like he didn't go through every single one. Like he went from like the 8 to the 35mm to like the whole thing. You could tell this guy loves movies because like every time he touched a different thing of film, it felt like he was talking about a friend that passed away or something. Like he's definitely in it. Yeah. But it was an interesting video.
And was there a lot of people at your theater?
The theater that we went to, I'd say it was like 50 pack house. There was another theater we wanted to go to also but like the seating wasn't right in the sense like I didn't want to be like up front IMAX. Those were the only ones left at that one.
So that one was packed.
That one was packed. So then we went to a different theater and it was about like 50. It's because of the location. Sometimes you realize like that. I think that was more of like a family neighborhood because it seemed like everyone was going to see Minecraft.
Oh
yeah. It's a lot of little kids.
You seen the videos of that stuff online?
Gosh,
like throwing popcorn and
live chickens. There was no live chickens or anything for Sinners in the theater.
Live vampires?
I hopefully not. Not in my theater.
Yeah, I was gonna say not in mine either. But mine was about the same. It was a decent amount of people. I saw it on the Thursday night.
Okay,
you did as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe like the Friday night was maybe even more busy or Saturday.
Oh, I could imagine. Probably. Yeah, it's a long weekend. Good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of interesting too. Like a movie about sinners and they're doing it. I didn't even think that's good. It's freaking like the long Easter weekend. I was like. Definitely on purpose, but I didn't even think about it until it came out.
Well, no, actually, because originally this was supposed to come out when Mickey 17 came out and they swapped.
Oh, just works out.
Yeah.
I don't see that really being mentioned in the marketing, but it's kind of like a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I'm not going to beat around the bush anymore. What'd you think of the movie?
I loved it. I thought it was a really excellent film. Like I thought it was like visually stunning as we're talking about like the IMAX.
Yeah.
I thought it really well thought out characters. It had its funny moments. I didn't expect it to have so much humor in it.
Yeah.
I found it really thrilling. And I thought it was like a very like cohesive blend of like the music, because the music's such a big element of it. The way they incorporated the music just in like the background soundtrack and also within the movie kind of felt like it was all within itself. Like if someone started playing music, suddenly that just became like the background music.
Right.
And then sometimes someone just bring the like start singing within them. Like I thought it was just so well done.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think basically a good way to kind of wrap up, like something that I thought of, and it kind of what you're saying is that I feel like it's all one well thought out art piece. Like Coogler has his hand. You can see his hands are all over this thing. This is his project. He wrote, produced, directed. Like this is his project. Yeah, and you could see that. Like you could definitely see he meticulously thought about every aspect of this movie. So you're totally right. Like having the music blend in and out. Like you can see how he was very clear with his Ludwig Göransson, his guy.
Yeah, it's his guy.
He was like, I need you to do this here, and then this is gonna come in there, and then even the way that shots, there's a lot of like moving shots that like definitely a lot of work went into. Like you could tell he really thought about how he wants to shoot every part of this movie. I liked it a lot too. I have some things that I didn't love about it. Yeah, which is normal in a movie. Oh, for sure. But overall, great movie. It lived up to the hype. Oh, for me, sure. Definitely. The pacing I thought was really, really good, especially at the start, like when the brothers split up. I thought that was really well done because you mentioned the characters, and I thought the characters were super well written. And for Coogler, who wrote this, I wasn't really impressed by the writing in this movie.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting too because like when you look at all his movies, he's been involved in the screenplays for all the movies, even the Black Panther. It's different because it's like an IP, so I wonder how much freedom he got to write. But I feel like the essence, especially from a guy from Oakland, there was that Oakland element in Black Panther, and I'm sure that was a little more him than actual. Because I don't know how much Stan Lee and those dudes were knowing about Oakland, and I don't know or how much they're writing about. Well, I don't know
because you were talking about in that episode, Stan Lee was a big Black Panther.
Yeah, like I guess that's
the
true.
Black Panther.
I know he was a Black Panther.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he said that they're not the same, but he was like for the culture.
No, 100%.
So, I don't know. He was
it's true. No, 100%. He wrote the screenplay for Creed.
Did he?
Yeah, okay. Like it was his idea.
Oh, really?
Like the whole thing, because I mean, just a quick background on it. Yeah. He talked about how that was kind of like a passion project for him too, because growing up, he was a big fan of the Rocky movies, and him and his dad, something they really enjoyed that. And then he came up with the idea, like, what if like Apollo Creed had like a son? And he wrote that screenplay, gave it to what's it called? Not Stallone. Is it Stallone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stallone.
I don't know why I'm blanking on. Yeah. He gave it to Stallone. He's like, yo, can we please do this? And he read the script. He's like, let's do this.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So it's not his first rodeo with writing.
Oh, you're right. I always knew he was. I knew he was involved, obviously, with Black. I mean, every director is somewhat involved with like kind of the screenplay and how it goes, but I didn't know how heavily involved. This one he wrote. He's the sole credit on as the writer for this. So yeah, the characters I thought was one of the best parts of this movie. Like each one, when the brothers split up and we're meeting each character, they each get their own little moment. Yeah. So we can learn a little bit about them, which is great for making us care about them. So like when whatever happens later in the movie to them, it means something. Yeah. And they all, what I love too about that part of the movie, like almost the first half of the movie, is that when each character is coming in and they're getting this chance to speak, or and their connection to the brothers, I felt like each one of them had this because they do. We get a taste of what their background with the brothers was. Yeah. And I felt like there was more there with every single one of them. Yeah. No, so I'm 100%. Like, okay, this is, I feel like almost he could do like a Tarantino style like book of like what happened before, or a prequel. Like a prequel to this movie would be 100%. Fucking sick. Yeah. Of like what the brothers were doing in Chicago. And apparently they were soldiers, so they went to war, and like all their background with each one of these characters, you could just tell there's so much there to be 100% explored.
Yeah, it's so rich in depth because, like you're saying, I always felt that you feel that way with Tarantino movies, where it's like these characters have these backstories, and it gets briefly talked about, where it's just like, okay, you have questions. I feel like literally every single like character that was like a main character, you could like make a novel on them or some kind of thing where it's just like, okay, we know this kind of happened to you, but like what, like you can give us more with that. Yeah, there's 100% more. Yeah, I feel like it's like there's so much unanswered questions with the characters, and it's like it makes it so rich with depth. Like I was saying.
Yeah, 100%. And before we started recording, we were talking about kind of you were talking about like new age horror. Yeah, and how like old horror was like, you said, here's Bill, here's Tom, everyone's gonna die. How's it gonna happen? Yeah, and we don't know nothing about Bill and Tom, and it's kind of the interest is more in the scare, and the killings and stuff
and
like that,
and the killer usually, and the killer, like the Michael Myers and the things. It's like the characters sometimes will have like a little bit, and then maybe like one character you care about. But in this, they're like, we want you to, if you're coming on screen, you're gonna care about them and you're gonna know something about them. Yeah. If they have, at least not like people like walking by, obviously, but like if you're within this movie and you're interacting with the brothers and there's some kind of relationship here, we're gonna give you some kind of depth.
Yeah, like I feel like it's almost like I compare it to, you know, like in the NCAA, they say it's a student athlete, not an athlete student.
Yeah,
like the student comes first. I'd almost feel like the old ones are like it's like movie horror. Like it's horror. Yeah. This is horror and it's in the medium of a movie. Yeah. Where this is a movie. This is a story that's being told and there's horror in it.
Yeah. No, 100%. I actually saw a quick interview. Like Spike Lee was hyping up the movie. He was on Carmelo's podcast. And he was saying, and he was saying, he's like, man, he was saying the same thing. He's like, I don't know if I can call it a horror movie. Like, it's just like, it's just so much more. It's like, I don't even know if you can throw a genre on it. It's like, I'm not saying it's a comparable movie to Parasite, but like how Parasite almost feels genreless because there's just so many different elements. Like there is a horror element to Parasite, if you want to look at it like that. Yeah. It's just so many different types of things, like tragedy and like comedy and like thrilling. And it's like a little bit of action. You know what I mean? It's like, it's got everything.
You're right. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get to our family meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
So we got, this is our Instagram story, or it doesn't even not necessarily have to be our story, but you can shoot us with any of your thoughts, comments on the movie. And so we went out and asked for any comments, and this is so we actually got quite a few, which
perfect. Nice.
I was hoping for and was happy that we did get them because, like I said, very big movie coming out. So we got a few shout outs. We have our boy Kobe.
Yeah.
Shout out Kobe. He said he shout out Ludwig Göransson. For the soundtrack. Top tier score and soundtrack. Yeah. Like you were saying. Like,
so did he see it or he just was acknowledging that? Okay.
Okay, nice. He was talking to me because he said he didn't see it when I posted it, but he was like, no, I'm going, so I'm coming back to this post and let you guys know what so yeah, totally. I mean, like you said, music was a huge part of this movie. So and they killed it.
Yeah. So I didn't even realize that Ludwig was his. Now we're on the topic of him. That was like his boy like that. He scored every single one of his movies.
Everyone.
Even his original like short film he did back in college, like called like Locks. He was because they met in college.
Yeah, I was gonna say because they were actually like students together.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this guy went to his wedding and everything. Like I watched the whole interview. Like their whole like interaction, just like we met at like what's it called, a frat party, but like I wasn't in a frat, like I don't know, somehow we just ended there. And he's like, I was on this wave of just listening to Swedish music, and I was like, and then I found out he's from Sweden, and we just started talking about music for like hours, and then we just became like best friends.
That's so sick.
It's so random.
And now they're working on massive films together, and
it's wild.
And Ludwig's in Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah, he did
now.
Tenet. He's moving along, man.
Yeah, he's great.
Both of them.
I don't know if this is this may be a bold claim. He could be the next Hans, man.
No, it's okay. You can say it.
He could be. Yeah, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying he could be.
No, you can say it because before Hans, there was other guys too, and then Hans came through. So I'm not mad at that.
Next, we got Jerry Nicole.
Okay.
Who said she was excited for all the different formats they offer in it and why it's important to experience them. So we were talking about that a little bit, like the Coogler video where he's explaining the different aspect ratios and stuff, which I thought was really cool. That they, like you said, like it's nothing that's been never done before. But I've never seen it to this extent. And like you said, like you could just tell that he loves movies. It was just pouring out of him. He was just excited to talk about this.
No, 100%. And I appreciate what he did because like now every time you always see like commercial people like, oh, film for IMAX, go experience an IMAX. But I'm like, but it's not an IMAX movie. You just want me to see the movie in IMAX because it'll make you more money.
Right.
But you didn't make this movie for IMAX. Like there's been times when like I've gone to see a movie in IMAX and like IMAX screens are bigger, right? But like he actually filled the full screen. Like you didn't film it for IMAX. You just stretched it out on a big screen. He's filling the screen.
Yeah.
And you get that in Oppenheimer. You'll get that in some Tarantino movies too, where they actually fill the screen. The other people are just like, it's just a money grab.
Yeah. And in this one, because they had two different ones, like he's filling the screen, but it's only in certain spots.
Yeah.
And I noticed it sometimes. I feel like it was mostly like, sometimes like a shot of the sky or a big field or like something like that where he really wants you to take in the scenery. And I'm sure there were some too that I didn't notice the change because I'm locked into the movie.
No, the story. Yeah.
Those were more like, okay, we're gonna slow down and like just take in some cool shots. so I can kind of appreciate it more. But like when there's action going on, I'm sure there were some swaps that I didn't even notice.
100%.
But I thought it was cool.
Yeah, you know what it is too? It's because IMAX cameras are so loud.
Oh yeah,
it literally sounds like it's crazy loud. So
I didn't
it's
know that.
hard to have dialogue scenes and have them do those crazy shots. Like if
That makes sense.
That's why usually when you see it, you'll notice that it's not usually a dialogue scene when they have like the full aspect ratio. Like
and this like the barn that they're in for most of the movie, it's like there's a lot of tight spaces that they would have been filming in. So like that would be bouncing the sound off the walls and like containing it. So, but even the smaller shots, it's still IMAX. Yeah, so I'm still sure it was still loud. Sure. I don't know how they do to clean up the sound afterwards.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I didn't know it was loud, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, next we got we got Alexis.
Okay, yeah.
And our friend Jenny.
Yeah.
And their comments were great casting, he's hot. I know they didn't watch the movie.
Oh, they did.
No, they didn't even watch the movie, but they wanted to contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, I know that's what's up. Yeah, that's up. I mean, that's a big part of this movie too. Like, it's shout out what's it called, Kelsey, like Dre's girlfriend too, because we were like, yeah, with Sinners. I was like Michael B. Jordan in it, and he's a twin. I was like, so you get 2 Michael B. Jordan.
Double,
like,
yeah.
She's like, oh, maybe we should go watch it.
That's funny. So I also wanted to shout out my guy BJ and his girlfriend Sarah. So this was when I was watching the movie, I obviously had my notebook.
Yeah.
And I'm taking notes. And he came up to me after the screen and he was like, I gotta ask, man, like what's up with the pen and paper?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got a movie podcast.
Oh, this is a random dude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Never met him before. So he was sitting next to me or whatever, and he was like, I gotta ask, like, what's this all about? I'm like, yeah, I got a movie podcast. So we started talking movies a little bit. And he sent me his thoughts on the movie.
Oh,
their thoughts on the movie. They started following us.
Shout out BJ and who?
Sarah.
Shout out BJ and Sarah.
So so they said they really like the movie. A unique way of telling a scary story. A lot of realism mixed in with slight horror and very well timed comedic breaks. I agree with that. Love the end scene, and it really says a lot about the brothers' bond and the loneliness of a vampire. That was an interesting.
That's a good take. I like that.
That's like the loneliness of a vampire, because they're staying alive forever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he has his girl with him.
Yeah.
So it's like the loneliness, but he was very hurt with like that his brother's gone. Yeah. Right. So I totally agree with that. The bond, it really showed 100%. That well.
Yeah. No, that is definitely a big part of it. And I've watched, like, just in watching other horror movie or horror, like vampire movies and TV shows too. There is that element. You always see like the lonely vampire because it's like been around for 100 years or 200 years, 500 years, and it becomes like the thing of like you try to form bonds, but like they're gonna die. So it's just like, what's the point? Yeah. So you kind of like isolate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, so shout out to you guys just for coming and reaching out, saying what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And like if any of you ever see us, I mean, at a theater, that's say what's up.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was just cool. Like I guess because I thought about that every time I go into a theater taking notes. I always feel a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Like I'm the guy taking notes, and people are probably wondering around me, like, why is this guy doing this?
It's not like you're taking it on your phone. That would be the weird thing.
True.
Like the flat, like the light.
It's not like I feel bad that I'm ruining the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, you feel like there's a
why is this guy doing
over here? Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. All right. Next we got a shout out. Actually, it's not even for Sinners, but I got to shout out Danny Valencia.
Okay.
He hit us up on Instagram. I mean, you know this.
Yeah.
He said he's a fan of the show. He was catching up with our episodes. That's pretty cool. And he wanted us to watch a movie, a fan film that he actually donated to. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
See that, yeah.
It's called Stalker: Shadow of the Zone, and it's a fan film about a video game. Mm-hmm. I never played the game, but he donated to it, so that was pretty cool. It's just over an hour. It's actually on YouTube, so you can watch it for free. Anybody. Stalker: Shadow of the Zone. I know you said you weren't able to catch it yet.
Yeah, I haven't caught it yet.
But I watched it and it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, dope.
It's pretty cool. It's there's some I was a little bit confused about some parts of it, like the premise, I guess, of it. But it's a short movie and it's a fan movie, so they didn't. I'm guessing if you played the game, you would understand it completely. And they do explain it. It's just quick.
Yeah.
So like you it's not like there's nothing there, but there's a lot of good like action and like militarized stuff going on. It's pretty cool.
All right, I'm definitely gonna check it out. And everyone listening, go check it out.
Yeah,
too,
go check
on
out
YouTube.
Go check it out on YouTube for free. It's just over an hour, so it's not a super long watch. Do I have any more? Oh, so we have our boy Jamari and Sabrina.
Yeah.
So they gave us their Filmie awards.
Okay.
So we're gonna save that till we get to the
Save it to
Filmies. So we'll say theirs as we go through ours. But so a good family meeting.
Yeah,
well
it was
done.
a good film. It was a big family.
That's a big family.
It's Easter. We're recording this on Easter weekend.
right.
Everyone's came over for the family meeting, and damn.
Yeah, appreciate everybody for dropping their comments so we could go through them.
Yeah,
and
no, we love that. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So without further ado, should
Even
we get
Alexis
into
and Jenny's one. We appreciate it. It can
comment.
be small. It can be a small
We
comment.
appreciate
Anything you got, we appreciate. But yeah, let's get into it, man.
All right. So we start with kind of basically, I just broke it up to like almost the whole first half of the movie. So we're in Mississippi, 1930s. We're letting us know where we're at. And then we meet the brothers. They split up to go their separate ways to prepare for this night that this juke. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but this big party they're throwing. Yeah. And what were your thoughts kind of on before the brothers split up or as they split up to get the different characters together?
Yeah, I like the like as we were talking about just how we liked how they split up and stuff, because the whole concept of the movie, like, it's leading to the barn, right?
Yeah.
Like we know that's where we're going. So I like how we had them split up. Like we had one go into town, and we had another one just go to the train station, because they were just going there to meet Delta, right? Is that the whole reason?
Yeah, so they were
basically,
because they talked about, they were like, oh, we got messed up with time. I can't remember what the reason was, but like we don't have time to do it together, basically. Yeah. So we're like, okay, you go and you're gonna basically Smoke, who goes into town. He's kind of getting supplies, right? He's getting fish and he's getting a sign made, and he's getting Cho, or is it Cho?
Yeah, it is Cho.
Cho and Mary, I think her name is. He's getting them to come help, and then
Mary. Oh yeah, Mary's the
Mary's Hailee Steinfeld
character.
Yeah.
I forgot his wife's name.
His wife's name I have Grace.
Grace, yeah.
And then we have Stack that's going to get. He gets Slim, the musician, and he gets cornbread to work the door. So they're basically just going, gathering people that they have past connections with.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, it seems like. And we also get Smoke going to see his girl.
Yeah, no, that's true. And there's also that one element too, and this goes into what we were talking about, how like there's so much more, because they talk about their dad, right? And they talk about how like at first I didn't know if they were like capping about like we killed our dad or whatever, because like Sammy asked him about that. I was like, no, yeah, he was beating him up, then we killed him. I was like, that in itself, I'm like, there's just so much, like, what happened?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is that even true? Because we've seen them like lie to people. Like, I don't know how true that is. Like, what actually happened? So there's that part. I thought it was interesting. Just adding that element.
That is a good point, because Stack even talks about how Smoke killed his dad.
Yeah.
Because they showed like kind of this love for their dad. Like Smoke goes and lays flowers on the grave. But also, if he was being abusive to Stack and that's what led Smoke to take him out, then obviously an abusive relationship with your father, like he's your father, so you're always going to have a little bit of that love there. But like obviously something happened that caused this outburst to happen. But you're right. Sure. Like it's just interesting. It's like there's something here. Again, like a prequel could be crazy for this movie.
No, 100%. There's like a nice little symbolism too. Like when they go to the truck and you see the snake, like that's just like a bad omen, you know, like when you see a snake kind of thing, you're like, oh, something's coming. Just like, I don't know, how'd you feel about because this is another thing that happens in certain movies where they kind of showed you the end. Like we saw Sammy with the guitar with the slash on his face,
right? And
then it's like one day earlier. Like what's your thoughts on like how people do that?
My first point was like, because there is that flash where we see Sammy and then there's the pops of like the vampires.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, I was like, Jesus Christ. I wasn't ready for it.
I wasn't either.
It scared the shit out of me. I was like, God damn it. What am I in for? I'm not a scary movie guy. So I was like, shit, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was interesting that like, the whole church feel again is like kind of like the snake, not in the sense of a bad omen.
Yeah.
But like, there's always that creepy aspect to like the church, right?
No, for sure, yeah.
So like that always had that creepy feel. Then there's the pops of like the vampire, and Sammy's all covered in blood and the broken guitar. So I was like, okay, something obviously happened. I thought it was cool. I liked it, but at the end of the day, I also think it's not necessary. because like we know where this is leading.
Yeah,
we know this is leading to a vampire fight, and at the end, really, what it's the only thing it's doing is kind of a mini spoiler. Like Sammy,
it's gonna be fine. Yeah. No,
but I did like it. Like I'm kind of on both sides.
No, I think the same way too. I feel like in that sense, it's funny when in the promo for this movie, I guess it's because he's not a well-known actor. There's not much promo as Sammy as he's basically the main character. Yeah. Like if you don't really know much about this movie, you see trailers, you'd think it's just Michael B. Jordan's the main character of this movie, which they are. They're main characters, but it's really it's Sammy's story.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it.
Well, it starts and ends with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
that's a good point.
It's his whole story, but again, it's because he's an unknown. You're not going to market it as
this is his debut.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is his first
crazy.
movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What's his name? Shout him out. Miles Caton.
Yeah, I had a note about that. Like apparently, like he was just like a background singer for her, like the musician Her.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he was on tour with Coldplay and stuff like that. And Her actually called him and be like, hey, I think you should try out for this role, this Ryan Coogler role. Because Ryan talked about how like when he had the concept for this movie, because it's so like wrapped around the music, he's like, the first thing we need to find is like we need to find that right musician. It's got to be someone with a great voice and obviously that can act. Like that's the most important element. Like we can't just like figure that out later and be like,
because he's the main character.
Exactly, right? So I thought that was interesting. Like his debut to come in. That's pretty ballsy too. It's just like because that's a big part of your movie.
Huge part of your movie, yeah. And he killed it.
I thought he was really good. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And he also learned guitar for this. He was a piano player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had to learn, which it seemed seamless to me. I'm not like a huge guitar like fanatic in the sense I can tell like, yeah, he looks like a newbie. Like it sounded good to me.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't know if the sound is actually him, like his sound. You know what I mean? Like it could have been someone else that played it, and that's the audio that we're getting.
Yeah, that's true.
And
but why would he have learned how to play guitar though?
Well, so that it looks like it's
okay. Yeah, I guess that's true.
You know, if you have someone that never played guitar and you get them to play,
just have them looking like goofy.
Yeah,
exactly. Just do an air guitar basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would do. If I would just be strumming every string and moving my fingers around.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when they split up, it was a good way of kind of splitting up the characters physically, obviously in the movie, but also like for us to kind of teach them the difference, teach us the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Like we get Smoke, he goes into town, like you said, he gets this girl to watch the truck.
Yeah.
And then these two guys are trying to steal from it or whatever. And he, no joke, bang, shoots the first one. The second one, he's standing there. He's like, oh, please let me go. Bang, shoots him too. He's like, I can't let him going around saying he's trying to steal from the Smokestack twins and not have nothing to show for it. Like this guy is no joke. Yeah. So they set that up right away. He's no joke. And then Stack on the other side, he's the loudmouth. Yeah. Right. He's talking shit to everybody. Hailee Steinfeld comes around. They have a wild ass.
Yeah, they do have a wild conversation. Just in public. Yeah.
Crazy. But I like that they separated them and like, okay, this is what Smoke's like. This is what Stack's like. Yeah. Right at the start of the movie. I like that.
And I like there's just like these little elements too, because after I watched this movie, like I know like a little bit about like, the Jim Crow era, stuff like that. And like kind of like with that time period, but it made me research a little more too. Cause I was even seeing like, just like the little stuff, which you appreciate how much research goes into, which gets, again, I don't want to constantly compare him to other directors and other movies, but like this is that Tarantino effect. Like when you watch an old movie, like if he's doing like a period piece, he does everything to try to make it authentic. And there was like the little thing I didn't even realize was a thing. Like the whole fact that like that fact that, Bo was his name, right?
Who?
No, what's it called?
Oh, Bo, you're right.
Yeah, Bo, right?
Yeah.
So initially,
I said Cho before, but it's Bo. You're right.
Is it Bo?
It's Bo.
Okay, yeah. Just like when they brought like the whole Chinese like immigration thing, like that whole element of like them being in there, because apparently that was like a big thing of like when they immigrated, they were initially brought in to like replace like black people as like the cotton field, but then they just ended up working like more doing like working in grocery stores and doing those kind of things, and it was commonly known that they would be in black areas because they couldn't do it for the white areas. So like just having that in there, you know what I mean? It could have been just like a random thing of just like he went to town and went to a black grocery store because it's only blacks. But like having that element there is just showing how well researched, especially in Mississippi too. Right. That was a big thing. Like there was a lot of like Chinese immigrants that went to that spot. So just like just adding those little elements, that it's just like something that could have just been a flyby thing in a movie that people probably wouldn't be like, oh, he actually put that in there.
And another thing is the like the money that the slaves use, like the plantation shits or whatever, that's not real money. That's another thing. Yeah. That's like he could have that doesn't need to be in there. Yeah. No. But he added it in to make it a little more authentic. This is what I'm talking about. Like Coogler, the fact that we're comparing him to like the Nolans and the Tarantinos, like I think he's on the path to greatness. Like 100%. This is, you could see just the level of detail that's
Yeah.
in every piece of this movie, everything is so well thought out, and like
100%.
the way he pieced everything together, like incredible.
Yeah, and then even to go even further, that like to bring it back to like, or again with the twins and them just going to Chicago and them mentioning Al Capone,
Right.
because that was such a big thing that was happening in Chicago. You know what I mean? And just like and them getting involved with like mafia stuff like that. And then at first I was kind of thinking like why Delta was so hyped about the beer. And it was like, we're literally a year off of the prohibition just ending. So it's just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, it was just like, oh, we haven't been, now everyone's trying to like, we're not doing the speakeasies and stuff like that. So it's a little more open, but it's harder to get like different beers. Like, it's not like how it is now. You can just go and just pick a litter.
And
like,
he was a slave, so it's
Yeah.
not like he has money to afford beer. So they
No.
get the corn liquor is what they
Yeah.
call it. So it's basically just as cheap as you can do it to get drunk.
Exactly.
But that beer hit his lips, and
Yeah, that killed me, man.
that beer hit his lips, man. I felt like I was like a Friday night after a long week of work, and it's hot out or whatever, and you're sitting on your deck or whatever.
Yeah.
I've had that sip of
Oh
beer.
my
I know
gosh,
exactly
yeah,
what that
I know.
sip is like, and he played it to
Yeah,
perfection.
no, that moment killed me. And then another moment killed me too. Again, this is where like the humor's coming in. Like you get just Delta and himself, just him in that moment.
He's the funny guy.
Yeah, he's just the funny guy. And then even like Smoke, his moment where he's just like, where you see Hailee Steinfeld's like, yo, Sam is a white girl looking at you, and he's just like, you sure she's white? Like he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's coming this way. He's like, oh, it's not like those little moments just
Yeah,
killing
he's
me.
like, damn. And then Sammy even gets some love too when he meets
Pearline.
Pearline.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm married, by the way. Happily.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay,
yeah. You just go for it, man. That was a little funny moment too, because Eloise was just like, why is she going after, like, why is she got to be married? I'm like, because they're all sinners. Name of the movie. Like, we're all sinners. You know? They're
We
all
don't get a
sinners.
Family Guy moment.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I was looking for it.
That's so true. Which I feel like that would have been very easy to do.
Yeah. It's one
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, and like this, the whole like, yeah, I guess he didn't want. He probably, that's purposeful. You easily could have had someone
Yeah.
say sinners in that movie.
See, because that's why he's like, nah, this is a propped up real art piece. Like, I
Yeah.
want people to take it seriously. He's not in here for, even though there are a lot of jokes in this.
Yeah.
Come on, Ryan, give us a
Yeah, give us a Family Guy.
Family Guy
moment.
moment, man. You could have done it with Sammy's dad. He's the preacher boy.
Yeah, no,
He'd be
it's
like,
true.
You're going to work and play music for all these sinners.
We're all sinners.
I think the whole movie pauses for
Yeah.
a second. It was just-
Then
he
we,
looks at
that's
the
when we go
camera.
into IMAX, just opens up.
Full aspect ratio.
We're all sinners. Title card.
Oh yeah, that would have been great. I liked Stack getting cornbread.
Yeah.
Like we said, each character kind of gets their little moment, and Cornbread's is pretty crazy
Oh,
too. He's
yeah.
working the field. Stack shows up. He's like, man, fuck you, talking shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever. And he's like, oh, this is your wife? Fuck your
Yeah.
wife too. I was like,
Yeah.
damn. This is what I'm talking about. This is the loudmouth. And
Yeah.
then Cornbread's like, okay, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
having that.
now I'm
about to-
throwing hands,
About
yeah.
to beat the black off of you. Is what he said. But then he's like, no, she gonna let you fuck her crazy
Yeah.
when you find out how much money. I was like, yo, this guy's spitting.
It's crazy. But even his wife was like, wait, how much?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, that's a cool woman.
Yeah.
she knows.
She was like, yeah, he disrespected me, but he's talking about money right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hear him out. Let's hear him
Yeah.
out. If he's talking bullshit, then beat the black off.
Yeah,
of him.
exactly. But if he's talking real money, and
Yeah.
he always has the cash ready, he's like, hey,
Yeah.
real money right here. So he's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
all right,
No joke.
He's the truth.
I'm no joke. So then we get a moment with Slim, Sammy, and Stack. They're driving back.
Yeah.
Through the fields. This is like a longer scene.
Yeah.
That he put together. Did you notice? So Slim is telling the story about his old friend that they made money with, and then he gets lynched and his money stolen in this train station. And did you notice that while he's telling the story, the audio is playing in the background of the story unfolding? That was so sick.
Yeah, that is really sick. I mean, I guess I'm sure especially in IMAX too, just with the elevated speakers and everything, you really got that. And he's like, damn, yeah, you can hear, you're hearing everything. That was another thing too. I didn't know, is you didn't see in the trailers, I didn't know the KKK was going to be an element in this movie,
True.
which it's, especially in being in Mississippi, was such a big, apparently they had that was one of their biggest strongholds, just like in the States, was in Mississippi.
Okay.
So like, that's another evil in itself.
Yeah. That's actually one thing that I didn't like as much about this movie.
Okay.
That was one of the...
Go on it.
So it feels like it's kind of wedged in there. So we get Smoke and Stack at the start of the movie. They buy the barn from this guy.
Yeah.
and we could tell he doesn't really fuck with him. He's like spitting on the ground.
Yeah.
But he never really says he's KKK. And then when the vampire show, we see those two white people in the house.
Yeah.
For the first time, we see the hood. So like, okay, they're KKK.
Yeah.
And then he mentions it at one point when they're talking, when the three white vampires are talking to them at the door.
Yeah.
He says that, no, this is my uncle's land or whatever, and he's gonna come back and fuck you up, whatever. But that's the only line, and then we get it at the end of the movie. And I don't know. To me, it felt kind of like it was just kind of thrown in there. It didn't feel fully developed. Whereas like the rest of it, like we're talking about, the characters have so much depth, and everything else was so pristine and very closely monitored. Like this one felt a little bit wedged in.
To me, I see what you're saying, because there wasn't as much depth as there was with like the other parts of the movie, instead of like the vampires and stuff like that. But I feel like it was almost put in there as like a relief moment, because what happens, like I'm already in the spoiler territory, like what happens within the bar and everything, with everyone dying and everything, it's kind of like, and we did get the burning, but then it was almost like another aspect of like, okay, how do we get some extra get back? And to me, I kind of compared it to Inglourious Bastard, just like any kind of like World War II movie, where it's just like, all right, let's fuck up some Nazis. Yeah, it's just like a feel good moment. Let's fuck up some KKK members. Is anyone gonna be mad at that?
No.
Let's fucking shoot up some KKK members, because we don't really get that. I'm trying to think. At least the movies I've seen, it's like I've seen movies with the KKK in it and stuff like that, even like Black Klansman and stuff. But it's like we don't get a solid like. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, no, it's true in Django. But like this is like we got a solid moment of like let's just rip it.
Let's just You're right. Like it's not a thing where I'm like, hey, don't kill those guys.
No,
like they're pieces
not.
of garbage.
Yeah,
like totally. Yeah, you're right. Like nobody's gonna be mad at this if we do it. But I felt like there could have been a cooler way for Smoke to go out at the end.
Yeah,
like it's just something that I don't know, to me means a little bit more. Like I said, like there's one line mentioning that this is my uncle's barn and he's gonna come back and fuck you up. And then it just happens at the end, and like even the whole thing of like the money not really working out. Yeah. Right. Like there's a couple little lines of them in there. Like, okay, this is a real American dollars. These are like the slave coins or whatever they were called. But to me, it didn't really feel that meaningful. Like the whole story is like, everyone's going to die. Who cares about the money at this point? Right. So like, that was something that I was like, to me, just didn't need to be in there as much. Or if you're going to do it, like, fully go into it and like give me more of it. Okay. Like it felt like it was not quite enough.
Okay. No, it's fair. Like I don't agree.
Yeah.
But I hear your point. Yeah. I don't feel like it was I don't think it was cheap in that sense. Right. Like I don't think it was so little that it was like you didn't need to have that in there. I think to me it was just it was enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think I don't know if it would make it distracting where it's like, oh, this is like a KKK movie. Or it's like a vampire movie. Not saying necessarily you can have but it's just like, oh, you got two villains. Like, what's the main villain? And this kind of like a little side thing. It's kind of like in a Batman movie or something when you have like two villains going in there. Okay. It's like every Batman movie, actually. There's never just
literally
one.
Every single one.
Yeah. Who's the main one? And then who's the side character? I feel like that's
actually in Dark Knight. Is there any side guys?
Or Scarecrow's in it for like a second.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah,
that's more just to introduce.
Yeah, that's true.
Batman, but yeah, I mean, I'm still a little torn on it. I've only been sitting on this movie for a couple days. Yeah. So like, maybe I'd have to watch it again, and like maybe there's more in it that I just didn't even note. I didn't catch. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a part of the story that I felt like wasn't fully developed. When the rest of it was like, I'm holding it just to a high standard.
Yeah. Well, I guess I think it was added in there because to put the extra level of fear on just like. It's not just vampires, because at this point they don't know there's vampires. The fear that they all live with is the KKK because they're in Mississippi. I feel like he felt like it wouldn't feel authentic to, because like I'm saying, it's one of the strongest strongholds of KKK in the United States at that time. So it's like I feel like we have to have them in there. Yeah. And like if Mary's in there, there's that extra element of like, oh, we couldn't be together because, you know what I mean, like because like your complexion, whatever it is, like you look white, and like all these little things, just that extra fear of just like white people. It's like there was that fear. Yeah. So I think that's just the thing. And it couldn't just be regular white people, I feel like. It just had to be like, let's get the most evil white people to be that extra element.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I wanted to jump back real quick to just the story that we were talking about when Slim is telling that story and there's the audio going in the background. Yeah. Like this was just this is obviously an idea that Coogler had. He's okay, I want to try this thing. And like, to me, this is the mark of a great filmmaker, that where it's like, okay, I want to try something different.
Yeah.
And it just absolutely worked. Like, it just, to me, like, I'm noticing it. I'm like, holy shit, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's a horrible story.
No, for sure.
But like, it makes you feel it even more. Like, yeah, he's telling a great story because these are lines that have been written down so you can carefully think about cutting out any filler or anything like that. So it's a great story, great way that he's telling the story. But like, adding in the sounds of this and like the hate coming from the people that you don't see any of them, but you can almost see it as he's telling the story and you're hearing this. I can visualize exactly what's happening. I thought it was so cool.
No, for sure. And up until that point, we didn't really know. We knew a little bit about Delta, but then we get that's the more depth.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I feel like I understand this guy's story.
Right.
And it's like, you see a guy that's a drunk. It's like, well, something turned him to that. You know what I mean? And like, this is like, okay, he's gone through some heavy stuff.
And again, another way to make us care for him a little, because sometimes you're like, okay, this guy's a drunk and he's just cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like you could almost think of him as delinquent, right? He's just drunk flying through life. But no, he's seen some trauma. And he even mentions like, I know all those guys. I used to be a slave, blah, blah, blah. Then we meet.
Well, just one more thing on that.
Go
I gotta shout out that character. Just like the real actor's name is Delroy Lindo, and I didn't actually know. My dad was telling me he's like, he was really big in like 80s and 90s like black movies. He was like, he's in like 3 Spike Lee movies. He's in like, I think he's like Crooklyn. He's in Malcolm X. And there's another one I'm forgetting that he's in, but he's in a lot of them.
Yeah, I definitely recognized him.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It wasn't just a random pick. Like, Coogler knew what he was doing, putting him in the movie.
Yeah, and I've seen him. Yeah, I recognize him for sure. I don't even know what I recognize him from.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not Jackie Chan kind of credits, but he's been
81?
He's been in a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay, so then we meet Annie.
Yeah.
So Smoke's girl, and they tell us right away that she obviously has some kind of like connection to the spirits or whatever, because she's running this like witch shop basically. And she was like smoking, like she was talking to Smoke, and she was doing this like omen thing, and then smoke was coming off of her. I was like, is she a witch? Like, because this is our first time meeting her, so I didn't know this. And then obviously she is. She's not a witch, but like,
she's just involved with this like voodoo and those kind of. Well, I shouldn't say voodoo, but supernatural elements and stuff like that.
Because she was the one that was telling them about the wood steak and the garlic, and like, so obviously she knows this kind of stuff, which is a perfect character to write into this story.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because if not, how are these people gonna know what to do?
We're already in the supernatural element, so it fits and it works.
Yeah. Did you have anything to say about this meeting specifically?
Again, there's just more depth. Like I like how they added that element of like how they had a child before. You know what I mean? They had like the mini grave there and everything. It was just like, which honestly at first I didn't even catch. Like, I don't know why.
That was his kid's grave?
Yeah, Eloise.
I thought that was his dad's
grave.
Did
I. Eloise pointed that out to me. She's like, no, they had a kid. That's why at the end she's holding the baby.
Yeah,
because that was their dead kid.
Okay, because at the end when she was, I thought that meant that
he got her pregnant.
Yeah. That when they hooked up in that scene, he got her pregnant.
Yeah, so did I. But that wouldn't have made sense, really. That quickly. It's the same day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're pregnant. Here's the kid. It's just like, true. But yeah, no, that messed me up too. And I was like, oh, you know what? That does make sense.
How does she know that?
Because on the thank God I watched with someone else. She caught this little thing.
I didn't. Neither of us.
At the grave, there's like a little rock with a little baby hand on it.
Oh.
Another thing, I think there's like a little baby toy too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when he was talking to Grace, when they were negotiating about how much to pay for the sign, that was kind of tough.
Oh yeah, even the thing he did with the girl too.
Yeah,
he's like, nah, negotiate with me.
That was lit.
Yeah, I like that.
Because he gave her more money.
Yeah,
that was lit. That was one way to make us be like, oh, I like this guy. Make him a likable guy, right?
100%.
He's like, okay, I'm teaching her how to be not fiscally responsible,
but
like, how to fight for herself, and I'm gonna give her more than she even is asking for. And then Grace, when she's negotiating, I'm like, okay, she's tough. She's not just like a damsel in distress. Not that she was ever established to be, but I like that when like you have female characters and they don't always have to be like that. Like they can be strong characters, but it's also not like an in your face, like woke, like look how strong this female character. She just is a strong character, for sure. Which I thought was cool. I mean, that's when you get the flowers for the kid.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, they own their own business, so they gotta be. But no, I did like that moment too.
So then we get the moment with Remick, who's the vampire.
Oh yeah.
So he meets the two white people, and then the those indigenous First Nations people come and they start like. Did you have any? What were your thoughts on this scene?
I thought it was cool. Like we kind of established already that thing of like in all these different cultures, there's like different elements that can like transcend and like open that dimension. And they mentioned like indigenous people too, so having them in there made sense too because they have. I was reading up on that too because they have like similar supernatural beings that are kind of like vampires. But they don't actually, not in every tribe, but just in some of them. So I thought that was interesting. Just like another little thing. Like he did his research. It's like, oh, they have vampires in there too. So like, and then like, the bad omen of like the black crows like flying around. He knew he was in there. He's like, are you hiding someone in there? He's just like, all right, well, God bless you.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, he's like,
yeah. That's you know, a cool thing about that too is that right at the start of the movie when they have like the writing where they're saying, okay, people can conjure spirits and you know based on music and blah blah blah, and then they have indigenous people playing music. Yeah, they have Irish people playing music. Yeah, and Remick is Irish, and they start doing the jig like later in the movie. And then they have the African music that we see that is one the blues is derivative of, but also where all these slaves, most of these slaves would have come from West Africa probably. So like. Each one that they just talked about at the start of the movie is in the movie. Yeah, no, exactly. It was a perfect like mixing of all those different. It's just his appreciation for music too. He was mostly focused on the blues, but there's just appreciation for all types of music in there. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that was a quick scene with the vampires. Yeah, which I liked. I don't think we needed any more than what we got there. Yeah. They're establishing, okay, this is what. We see them for the first time. Yeah. And we're like, okay, this is what they look like. It's pretty cool. We also get like, he's cunning. Yeah. Like he's not just like ooh, I'm a vampire. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, yeah. It's not one of those corny type of vampires. There's actually like a human element to it. Yeah. The way he gets his way into the building. I thought that was cool. No, it's not campy. I mean, that's the whole thing of like, again, like, I'm like a big. I mean, I am a horror movie guy. I guess I've established that on the show, and like I like vampires. I don't know if vampires is definitely my favorite thing, but the thing with vampires is that they're never a forceful. For the most part, they're never a forceful like a supernatural creature. Their thing is about. It's actually called the glamour. That's like one of their powers, where their whole thing is about just like tempting people through their words. They don't need to like forcibly do everything. Everything is always like let me convince you, and we get a lot of that in the movie. Yeah, and even with that, it's just like, oh, let me in. Like even like we'll talk more about like at the barn stuff too. Right. But like that's a big part of it because like they kind of represent like the whole point of vampires. Like they represent like temptation. There's always like that sex and power element to them, and I thought that was well done in this movie too. Interesting. So yeah, then the party starts. Basically, we're at the barn. What were your thoughts on like the party gets going? It was fucking lit. Oh yeah, I mean there's a lot of elements to the movie that was lit. I mean just like when they actually start getting into like the jam session, like when Sammy was going in and like that's in itself like there's so many elements that make the whole IMAX experience enjoyable. But that moment in like you don't want to watch that on a laptop. You know what I mean? You're not checking on your phone like when it gets to whatever streaming service like that. You want to experience that in a theater because it was just like. The sound on top because like the music is blasting. Because I wrote this down. I was like, Sammy, he starts cooking with this song and he murders this song. I was like, this is worthy of conjuring spirits. You know, they're talking about like obviously everyone can play music. Yeah. Right. But it has to be the best of the best of the best to conjure a spirit. Yeah. So, or not conjure spirit, but attract the vampires because right, it burns the house down, and that's where he sees them. He's like, "Oh, I see you. I need you." So, you need this song to be a banger, and he murders it. Yeah. And then like when the camera is moving around the room, and it's bringing people from the future. We see the first guy with the guitar from the future, and then we see a DJ with turntables, and then we see like African people with instruments and African dances. We even get an Asian dancer going. We see like b-boys. I was like, when the camera's moving and these people are like coming in and out of the shot was so sick. And then they just panned out and it was just like the burning was like the building was really kind of down. They had a little bit of fire and everything, and I was like, yeah, this
this is cinema. That's just it's just a cinematic. Yeah, it's just a cinematic moment. You know what I mean? It's just like I always like whenever I see moments like that, I'm just like, this is when him being like, yeah, that shit looks cool. Yeah, I'm just imagining the director. I'm like, yeah, this is hard. There's no talking. Like we're just showing you a moment. Just like look at this. If you can find the right image, like freeze frame, that could be a poster or something. Yeah. It's just like it's a absolute awesome moment.
But also, like you said, to watching this in IMAX, like you feel it too, like with the music that's playing, and the speakers are obviously like super loud.
Oh yeah.
So like it's the volumes like picking up as it gets closer to Sammy, and he's like almost in the zone. I want to say, like as it's so. And then we see the vampires looking at him.
Yeah, it catches
through the burning building. This was awesome.
And to go on to that point with the vampires too, I liked the vampire design. Like there's so many different ways you can do the vampire, especially like with the teeth. Like you can do the big two fangs, whatever. Yeah. Sometimes they change their facial features a little bit depending on which movie or TV show you're watching, which book you're reading. But this one I liked. It was pretty subtle. You know what I mean? Like they have their sharp teeth and they're kind of not always there. They can hide them and show them. And it's like every teeth is just sharp. Yeah. It's almost like shark-like in that kind of sense. And then just that little subtle like shine in their eye, like the little red like dot. Like I just thought that was cool. Just like a little subtle thing.
You saw the Puss in Boots thing?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that.
So Ryan Coogler said a big inspiration for his design was from the Puss in Boots movie.
Really?
With Death?
Oh,
the red eyes?
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. That's hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
I had a line I wanted to shout out to Mary, Hailee Steinfeld's character.
She had a lot of wild lines.
She had a lot of wild. I already skipped over a few.
Yeah.
but they'll be coming back later.
Yeah.
So when she walks in and Sammy's like stopping her almost. Yeah. He's trying to stop her. He's like, no, I'm here. I'm not just here with Smoke. Like I'm here with the twins. She's like, you're here with the twins? Fuck out of my face. Yeah. I was like, okay, I get you're supposed to be like a 16th black. She's like my grandma's dad was black or something. I'm like, that 16th is kicking ass.
I know.
Inside.
I was thinking that moment.
That 16th is winning the internal fight right now. Crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I thought the exact same thing too. I'm like, damn, bro. Like she really leaned into that.
I was like, a 16th. Yeah. I'm half black.
Yeah.
I'm half black, half white, and I was like, she got more than I do.
And it was everything. It's not even just the way she said. It's the face too. She had the stank face with like,
fuck yeah, exactly.
Here, she got the squint and everything. I'm like, damn. I mean, everyone on set was just like, who taught her that?
Crazy, man. Well, she is actually 1/8 black, apparently.
Yeah, I know. That's I thought that shit was funny too, because I remember her saying it was like in an interview talking about like, oh, it's kind of like real life. Like I'm kind of like actually like portraying like my culture, and I was kind of just like. 1/8. I'm like, are you guys? What 1/8 black thing are you doing around the holidays?
Telling Josh Allen, fuck out of here.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you got Mahomes? You can't get past Mahomes? Fuck out of here, Josh.
Yeah, she's got so many mixes where it's one of those things where just like, because I know, like, I think I don't know if her mom or her dad is Jewish, but then the grandfather she was talking about actually is half Filipino, half black. So I'm just like, there's so many like mixes in there.
Yeah, a whole lot in there.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Perfect.
She looks more like she looks Filipino white. I was surprised. I didn't know about the black thing.
Yeah, I didn't know either
until the promo for this movie.
I didn't know until I heard that line, and then I knew for sure. Because even Sammy, he says after, he's like, "What are you?"
Yeah, that's so true. That's a good
that
point.
killed me. I was like, Sammy's speaking for all of us right now.
100%.
What is like? What are you?
That just reminds me of another thing. The funny thing happened that was Sammy when he was talking to Pearline. And like they're doing the whole like kind of like he was rizzing her up and flirting, being like, yeah. When she walked away, the way he checked her out too, he was just like, this man looked like he hasn't eaten in days. Yeah. And he was just like,
yeah. Well, and then when they hook up, and he's like, he wants to go down on her. Yeah. She's like, no. He's like, come on, I just want to taste. Yeah. She's like, just let me wash up first. I'm like. Sammy, let her wash up first. Man. She's like, I walked here, Mississippi.
Yeah, I know.
Like, let her wash up, bro. I mean, he didn't stop. He was in it. He was
in there, yo. He
was in there. All right. Okay, so another funny point. Actually, there was a lot of hooking up.
Yeah.
So when Sammy was hooking up, Stack comes and he opens the door, right, and he notices. And so he closes the door. He's like, okay, let them do their thing. And then Grace comes around because she needs to get supplies or something.
Oh yeah, he tells her to go listen to my cousin.
Yeah, exactly. I heard that. He's like, yo, check my cousin. That's hilarious.
No, because I guess they kind of foreshadowed that because he was teaching him in the car. He was telling him, he was giving him tips.
True.
So that was like a little like foreshadowing of that it was gonna happen.
He's
and
like, yeah.
Immediately put to wisdom.
Get in there, Sammy. Preacher boy.
That was another funny moment too. Like it's just like a little subtle thing. Like when he told him, like, yo, start play that guitar, and his reaction, he was like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That felt so genuine.
It
He was
did.
Like, he looked, he was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they didn't, like, he probably never played music before for Michael B. Jordan. So they're like, okay, I want this to be real. Like, see how you feel. And he was like, oh, snap. You actually like that?
Yeah. It felt very like he actually just heard it for the first time.
100%.
Yeah.
So either that's true.
Yeah.
And he did actually or shout out to Michael B. Jordan. That was in that moment. I bought it fully.
Oh,
He
same.
had never heard that shit
100%.
before. And Sammy was cooking.
Yeah.
So great reaction. I like that. Then the white vampires show up for the first time.
Yeah.
And Mary goes out to talk to them, and like basically the whole conflict starts to happen. What are your thoughts?
Did you know about the whole invitation thing? Were you familiar with that at all?
No, that was I wanted to ask you
okay.
that. What is that? What is that?
You know, it was funny because I remember as I was watching, I was like, oh, I got to whisper this to Eloise. And because I already knew it was going to come up. I was like, oh, by the way, in vampire lore, it's like this thing where it's like they can't enter houses until they're invited in. That's like in at least everything I've seen. I don't know if it's like that in Twilight because I've never seen Twilight, but like in True Blood, in like the Lost Boys, and like every like vampire thing, that's just like it's just like a thing that was created within the lore. It's like they cannot enter your home until you invite them in. So that always becomes like a little thing where it's just like, well, you're not going to invite me in. And then when someone's like, oh, yeah, you're invited in, you're like, oh, snap. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And it's also like a cool little thing too, where it's like you can add in where someone's like talking about like, oh, can you invite me in? And maybe they're not a vampire. It's just they happen to say that. It's like, oh, is that a vampire?
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, it's just part of the lore. So it's like, I guess, yeah, if you don't know that, you're kind of just like, why? What's this whole invitation thing?
I didn't. I mean, when the three vampires show up, the white people show up at the start, and they weren't getting invited in. I didn't know that. But I also wasn't thinking like, oh, this is weird, because I was like, okay, they're trying to trick them.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna bust in and start like biting people. So I was like, okay, they're not getting let in. They're gonna sit back there. That's fine. I understand it. And then when it started to keep coming up, where they're just like sitting at the door.
Yeah.
There, I'm like, I guess they can't come in. Like, but it didn't bother me. Like I said, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But like, it was clear from watching the movie. I was like, oh, they have to be invited in.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but like he made it clear that even if you didn't, someone like me, it was clear. So I was like, okay, I guess this is the thing. It's a supernatural movie. I'm not gonna say that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, these are
100%.
vampires that don't exist. So when that happened, I was like, okay, I guess this is the rule. I was like, I thought this was just the rule for this movie.
Oh,
I didn't
no,
know
that's
it was
the
a
whole
vampire thing.
No, that's the whole lore, and it kind of makes it you kind of need it in a lot of things too, because it's like otherwise you're absolutely screwed when it becomes nighttime. Because you have the daylight where it's just like, okay, get them away from me. You have the holy water, you know, things. You need all these things because vampires are like Superman, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like you need that element of like, if we get home, we're safe, like in movies and TV shows.
Right,
Then they
okay,
can't
I
get
see.
at us.
Yeah.
So that was just like a thing that probably got added in who knows how long ago. Could have been like original Nosferatu or Dracula. I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of wondered me that I wondered.
Okay.
Like when Mary bites Stack, so she seduces Stack, bites him, and then she immediately like runs. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill every last one of you," and then she runs away. I was like, "Why isn't she killing them? Why does she leave? Is that a vampire thing?"
It kind of is, because that's why I mentioned the whole glamour thing and like their whole element, because, and you've noticed this throughout the movie, a vampire doesn't want to do things forcibly. They will if they have to, but they want to convince you. That's why there's so much convincing, right? Like, you'll come out here, you're gonna enjoy it. Like, they want to get people to be like, to not forcefully, but like willingly give themselves up to join them. They don't want to force anybody to do anything. That's why for the most part that it's just conversations constantly, because that's how vampires are. They're like, no, it's better this way. Trust me. Come over here. Just let me bite you. Like, they love that element of it. I don't know why, but that's part of the lore too. Because
I guess that makes sense, but like the one thing that like we see the one guy that they just throw outside.
Yeah.
Right. They assume he got bit. They throw him outside. He was like banging on the door trying to get in. So that wasn't like a willingly thing.
Yeah.
Cornbread comes and just jumps on
Yeah.
him. And even Cornbread, like he goes out and he's peeing and he hears voices. I guess it happens off screen. Maybe they did convince him, but maybe they just jumped on him too. Like,
Yeah.
it was a little pick choosy.
No, and that's kind of how it is. Like for the most part, it's usually they do it convincing, but like I don't know, for whatever reason, that recent Cornbread just I wanted to attack that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a vampire noob, these were just things that I was just like, oh, I'm not sure.
No, 100%. And that I understand that too, because I kind of had to explain to Eloise too. She's like, oh, why did she run away? Like, why did that happen? It's just like, because they don't want to do it that way, because it's too easy for them. Okay. I think that's another thing too. Like they just turned, but like now they're connected. That's another thing too. It's like the original guy, like what's his name again?
Remick?
Yeah, Remick. Sorry, not P. Remick. It's like he's kind of like the head dude now because like that's like their guy. So like they're kind of within his realm. It's like you kind of gotta stick with him because he's kind of the guy that's been turning people, and you stick with those people. And like this is the way they're doing it, so we do it like that. But then once where he dies, whatever, then you can kind of be like your own individual vampire. It's like that with werewolves too. Like everyone has like their packs and stuff. Okay, you have your pack leaders, your alpha, betas, whatever, all that stuff. So I know I don't think that this movie didn't make it so confusing that I'm sure that you didn't know that stuff and still was enjoyable for you.
Right.
But there is those little elements of like which I appreciate. He's staying true to the lore of the vampires.
Yeah. You're right. I now knowing that that's a thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that he didn't just completely stray from it because he can. And like I said, I didn't know the inviting in thing, but it was clear from the movie that that's a thing. I mean, basically what I had written down, because I was gonna ask you this, I was like, okay, so Cornbread needs an invite into the building.
Yeah.
These are what I wrote down. I was like, these are the most polite vampires ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can kill me. I can't see sunlight or whatever. But the one thing that I will not give up is my manners.
No, it's so true. Yeah, no, yeah. That's the part of it. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
So next, then we get inside and they all have to eat the garlic.
Yeah.
Annie's like, okay, all of us eat the garlic so we know if anyone's been bit. And then Pearline is like, hesitate. She's like, no, I don't want to eat this. This is gross. I'm like, Pearline.
Yeah, I know.
This is literally life or death.
That's what I'm
and you're not going to eat garlic because it's gross. Like, she ends up doing it. But I'm like, why are you pushing back so much?
Yeah. And Sammy was really trying to help her. And then what was Smoke was just, shut up, bopped him in his nose. He's like, and in his defense, just eat the garlic.
Eat the freaking garlic.
We're not playing around here, man.
I don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if we had to eat dog poop, I'm eating the dog poop to prove that I'm not a vampire, bro.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're getting this bullet in the head. And then we'll find out pretty quick if you were lying or not.
That is tougher, though.
It is. No, it is tougher. I was just using it as an extreme example, but I wouldn't even, honestly, I don't have no problem with garlic. I wouldn't want to eat a clove of garlic. That's kind of nasty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But even like, they had the like juice. Why don't you just, pour some juice on your skin?
Oh, like the holy water or whatever?
She had
garlic water. Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, do I have to eat it? Just pour some on my skin? It's not, if it burns, then kill me.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she was just like, no, I'm not eating this garlic. I'm like,
I know. I was like, what are we doing
Stop.
here?
Well, yeah.
I actually was thinking, I was like, oh, is she actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what it's meant to be.
100%. I like the scene because of that.
Yeah. But then she just eats it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you so mad about? God, just eat the freaking garlic.
I got to point this out, too, for anyone that's like seen The Thing. It kind of gave me, I don't know if he took inspiration from this. There's a moment in The Thing that kind of made me think of that. I don't know if you ever heard of that horror movie, The Thing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's about like an alien invasion that the alien can come in and it can shapeshift.
Okay.
So there's a moment like that in the movie where like they're kind of all in a circle and they're like, okay, who's the alien?
Right.
Let's test it out. And they kind of do a thing like that. I'm like, oh, is that a nod to The Thing?
Maybe.
Might be. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. Because I feel like that could just be a coincidence.
It could be.
But maybe. I don't know how deep he did his research. Because that's a big time horror movie, The Thing.
Yeah. We'll have to get him on the podcast.
And ask him. No, 100%. The press tour is still going on. We'll do another one if we can get an interview with Coogler.
Get in here, Ryan. That'd be sick. So then there's a whole bunch of kind of this back and forth with them at the door. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the seducing, trying to like, come on, guys. Like, see how we can be all together out here and blah, blah, blah. And you're right in the sense that, it sticks to the established vampire lore. But to me, I didn't like this as much. Mm-hmm. I thought it really slowed down the movie, and I don't mind when a movie slows down. Obviously, it doesn't always have to be go, go, go.
Yeah.
But to me, this is when, like, this is right after the vampires are introduced and people are starting to get bit. I'm like, okay, I'm in for this. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I want it to pick up.
Yeah.
Like, we get the slow at the start when the twins split up and they're gathering the different people and the supplies and stuff. which was awesome. I thought that was really great. But then when I wanted it to pick up, it slowed back down again, and I didn't like that as much.
Okay, no, it's fair. I get that. What was the specific? It's just like the specific moment, like after the garlic scene, or like that garlic scene was kind of slow.
No, I liked the garlic because again, it's like it's ramming. I'm like, is she a vampire?
Yeah.
Who is like it's keeping me on my toes. But to me, the reason it didn't work for me, all of the back and forth at the door was just because I'm like, these guys aren't gonna step outside. It's not gonna work. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Like so to me, I'm not. It's not tense because I'm like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Why would they?
No, for sure.
Like, you know, he's like, come on out. Like they're fighting. They're getting garlic. They're getting their wood stakes. Like they're getting ready. They don't want to be vampires.
Yeah.
So I'm like, them talking at the door. If I thought, oh, maybe one of them's gonna crack, then I could be like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? But to me, I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. They're not gonna go outside.
No, it's
so
true.
to me, it slowed down, and the tension wasn't there for me.
There's a little bit of the Bo and Grace moment where I was questioning maybe she might do it. I don't know if they're gonna have her be that character because Bo was like, yo, just come outside, yo.
Yeah.
Just like, and at that point, it was just like, it was funny because it's just like, I'm glad that they weren't like the stupid characters that didn't realize. I'm like, Cornbread is literally eating that guy, and you're just asking me to come outside. I'm like, clearly you're a vampire because I know my husband would be scared of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what? Come on, let's go. Let's get in the car. Let's go. It's like, okay, yeah, you're clearly a that is not. You're not bothered by that at all.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a still part of us just like, you know what? I don't know. It's like my husband's turned like out of, and then they mentioned his daughter when and he comes through and she's like, hey, maybe we can go take a visit to the store. And I was like, ooh,
and that's what ends up doing it.
yeah, no,
right?
for sure.
But you're right. That was it. When Cornbread's eating the guy and he's like, just come outside, and he's chilling there. I was like, because I wasn't sure at first when he walked up. I was like,
same.
I was
But
like,
then
maybe did he
like,
escape? Maybe did he find a way?
Yeah.
And he just doesn't know about the van because he left and he's getting in the car. He doesn't even know. He didn't know about the vampires.
No, for sure.
Right. So I was like, okay, maybe he was able to sneak around, and then like that shit's happening. I'm like, that's happening right beside them. Is anyone gonna say that? Like, if it didn't happen, I would have flipped the table. There was no. I would have brought in a table to the theater and flipped it. But then they pointed out, so I was like, okay, I can't be mad. They did it. He's clearly a vampire. You're right. That was a good point. So then, like you said, so that's what does it. She's like, oh, we're gonna go get your daughter. Blah blah. And Grace is like, no, fuck you. That's my husband. You're gonna get my kid. Blah blah blah. Come inside.
Yeah, I was just like, oh,
and then it's like, here we go, baby. And that. What did you think of this whole fight?
It was wild, man. Like I didn't think it was gonna. They were just gonna overtake them like that. I figured I was like, they don't stand a chance here.
Yeah.
They're gonna end up dying. With the Grace thing too, like at first I was a little cheesy. I was like, oh, why is she doing that? But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'll defend her a little bit just because it's just like, okay, they said that they're gonna go see your daughter, and your daughter has no idea what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So your dad pulls up. And he's going to have to be asked to invite it in. And she's going to say, yeah, of course. Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, let's just fight these dudes. I don't even want them to even like go over there. Let's just do this. I don't even care. Because what's the alternative? I can't wait till sunrise. They might just go right now. I don't know if they're bluffing or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is always with vampires, there's still a little bit of that original person in there. And you saw that. They're not completely a different person. So like you almost wonder like what would the dad think? Like would he actually want to kill his own daughter? I don't know.
Because if you think about Mary with Stack, she loves Stack.
Yeah.
And she didn't hesitate. She bit him.
No, it's true.
Because she even said, oh yeah, actually I skipped over this point that I wanted to.
Her other wild line?
No, it's actually not her wild line.
Some of her lines I don't even like. I'm not even gonna say.
I know.
Yeah, it's just like a little too wild to put out there on the internet.
Also because I'm watching in the theater, so I don't have time to write everything down.
No, exactly.
So like I don't want to mess up the line, especially her lines. I don't want to accidentally mess it up and say something insane. But she said to Stack, she was like, I didn't ask for any of that, because he was like, oh, I got you a white husband and a good life. He's like, I didn't ask for any of that. I didn't want to be white. I wanted to be with you. To me, that is love. 1930s Mississippi, you have a chance to be white. And you don't take it.
No.
That is true feeling. So 100%. I'm like, I was okay, I believe she truly loves this man. And she bit him. So
no, it's true.
I don't think the feelings really would get in the way of the bite.
No, it's true. Yeah, no, it was like a powerful moment where just like that just that little moment, because like again we're getting more background story. She talked about her. I mean, is it Stack or it's Smoke that was like hooked up with her in the past, and then it was Stack. Okay, and then like he's like, yeah, my mom birthed you guys, and he kind of just like dipped on her and all that stuff. It was just Yeah, it was wild. I didn't realize that was gonna be the relationship.
I know.
Because when she came in saying that stuff at the train station, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, because we didn't know if that was real.
Yeah.
Or not, but I was like, apparently it is.
Yeah.
But again, there's just so much depth to that character.
Yeah.
There's so much story back there
No,
that
100%.
we know is there, but it goes unexplored. Because obviously there's there's only so much you can do in this movie. Just talks to the depth of the characters.
Yeah.
But
But what
to
about
me,
you,
I
though?
was like a white girl
Yeah, I know. That's wild.
that is choosing not to be white.
Yeah.
Love.
What about you though? What do you think about the barn fight? Once we said let's get ready to rock,
It was sick. I mean, like you said, I was kind of like you. I was like, okay, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
There's tons of them out there, and they're vampires.
Yeah.
So they're toast. Grace was a
Oh my-
freaking psycho.
Yeah.
Stabbed. I can't remember who it was.
her husband.
Was that her husband?
Yeah.
And she's burning alive
Yeah.
while she's just like lying there stabbed. I was like, Jesus
Till
Christ.
death do us part. man.
Grace is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like I said, at the start, she's like negotiating with Smoke. All right, she's cool.
Yeah.
I fuck with her. And she was always just cool throughout the party and everything. She was good. She made the sign and
Yeah.
everything. And then she goes out like that.
Yeah, I know.
Tough.
She went out hard.
Tough.
Yeah, she went out hard. I mean, I wonder what's gonna happen with their daughter now. Like, who's like, no one even checked in on her or anything.
That's a good point. No
one checked in on her.
The only one left is Sammy.
Yeah, no, it's true. Maybe he
Maybe-
did at one
yeah,
point.
maybe
It just
Sammy
didn't
went
need to
in,
be
like-
on screen, but yeah,
Yeah. Because no one would have even like told her about
that's what I mean.
what happened.
That's what I'm
And is she
saying.
gonna believe them? Like, yeah, your dad became a vampire and your mom had to kill him.
Yeah,
and-
maybe you're gonna just say they passed, but like, yeah, you'd
guess.
want to know how
You'd-
though.
yeah.
Oh well, they're
like
burned.
if someone comes up to you like just on a random Tuesday and
Yeah.
like, hey, your mom and dad died last night, you wouldn't be like, okay.
Yeah, no, you'd be like, what
You'd be like,
happened?
what the hell happened?
And
Yeah.
you'd like, you don't even believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
That's true, actually.
That's just something I thought about right now. I was like, yeah, no one even checked up on her.
Damn.
We don't know. Spin off.
We'll say Sammy did.
Okay, we'll say Sammy.
We'll
did.
say Sammy did. The one thing that confused me, and it kind of gets answered actually at the end of the movie, but I had written it down at the time, was when Smoke kills his own girl, Annie. She gets bit.
Yeah.
So he kills her. And then Stack leaves.
Yeah.
Stack and
Mary.
Mary leave.
Mhm.
They're like, come on, let's get out of here. When that happened, I was like, why? Why
Yeah.
is this happening?
No, same.
Stack comes back.
Mhm.
And we don't see Mary again.
Yeah.
We find out obviously at the end that they go off and
Yeah.
just do whatever until they see Sammy again. But like, why?
Yeah, no, I mean, and that was it didn't happen until later when like Remick actually died, but they got to because like I was talking about like you're kind of like you're attached to the OG vampire like that kind
Right.
of started turning everybody, but like once he died, I think they kind of maybe they saw the writing on the wall. They're like, oh, he's probably gonna die, so then they became free. Now they're just free vampires. They can do whatever they want. I don't know if like he saw that writing on the wall. And then there was an element too, like when she died, you saw both of them get upset. Which I was saying, I was like, there's still a little bit of that vampire of like, the original person in there. Like every vampire has that.
Yeah.
And I guess that was like the sparking moment that like overcame them a little bit. They were like, whoa, like this stuff's getting crazy. Let's get out of here. We don't need to. We don't need to do this.
Interesting.
They didn't. They weren't like fully like into their vampire aspect where they're just like stone cold killers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody else was.
Yeah. I mean, some of the people, what's it called? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why specifically them. I guess because maybe it's the trauma of seeing someone that they knew die and know that they're not going to become one of them. Because everything else is about convincing, like, be like us. Like, you'll feel
Right.
better. Like, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to die and be like this. I don't actually want you to die and, like, not be around anymore.
Yeah.
There's that still that care. That's why I think the dad wouldn't have killed his daughter in the sense of, like, he would turn her, but he wouldn't want them to kill his daughter.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
why
I
he'd
think-
be fine
But
with
isn't that
that.
what they meant? Like, we're going to go to your daughter and we're going to bite her.
Yeah, I guess. He just said to pay a visit, so I don't know what she thought they
Yeah,
meant.
I guess.
Just any kind of threat.
So then there's the fight upstairs. Smoke and Stack fight each other. We were led to believe that Smoke kills him.
Yeah.
Did you think he did? Did you hold that face value or did you?
No, a part of me was like, I don't think so. Like,
Really?
I couldn't. Yeah, because I was
Okay.
just like, I don't know. Like, not saying it wouldn't work with the story, but part of me was just like, I don't know. Why you thought 100%?
I thought he was dead.
Okay, yeah.
he was dead.
Okay, no, I held out hope for whatever reason. I was like, no, I don't think.
And you were right.
Yeah.
You were right. And then the main Remick wants Sammy because he's shredding that guitar.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting killed, and then the sun comes up, and the
Yeah,
whole
that was a crazy shot of
Yeah.
him burn, like them like holding each other and then burning on fire, and like I don't know how they did that. Like I don't know if they obviously they weren't burning a man alive, but like they had something going. I'm like, that looks like real fire.
Yeah.
Just the way the light's hitting their face and everything.
Right.
Like I'm curious to see like later on if they do a behind the scenes on how that was shot, because that looked crazy.
Yeah, of them standing in the water. Like,
yeah, like that's a shot that they show in the trailer.
Yeah,
you don't know
yeah.
what they're looking at,
Right.
Because like it's good you don't show what they're looking at.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you just see the burning. Like I thought that was a crazy looking.
Yeah, it was. It was a cool death. Like Sammy, you know what I thought actually was gonna happen in that moment, because Sammy's stuck in the water. Remix, he's got him dead to rights.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how's he gonna get out of this? Because we know he survives, right?
Yeah.
And when he comes to at the start of the movie, when he comes into the church, the neck of the guitar is broken.
Yeah,
right?
I assumed.
So I thought what was gonna happen was he was gonna break the guitar and stab him in the heart with that. That would be like the wooden stake.
Yeah, that's
but
what
it
I was
ends up
assuming too.
being smoke that comes. You were thinking that?
Yeah,
too?
I was thinking the exact same thing
shit.
too. I was like, the way he was holding, I'm like, oh, that was gonna be his weapon, because I
Yeah.
knew the whole the whole stake thing, but it didn't happen to be that way.
Ended up being smoke. I kind of think that could have been maybe cooler.
Yeah,
Like the whole smoke, like, oh, we don't see him behind him and he saves the day. Like it was all right.
Yeah.
But that could have been almost even a better touch.
No, I agree. One thing I was thinking too was also, I thought that, well, it had me questioning, did they need him to be alive or did they need him to be a vampire to play the music? That wasn't really established.
Well, so you thought they were just gonna like kidnap him?
Yeah, I don't know if they needed, like, I don't know if it was one of those things where it's like, for you to be like, you know, because it's like, I feel like this is a soulful thing, like the music that you're playing. Like, can you play that without a soul? Because once you become a vampire, you have no soul. So that wasn't like it's not like a thing that like ruined it or anything, or it was just an element I was wondering. I was like, where it wasn't really established. I was like, you need him to play the music because you want him to break that barrier. Does he need to be alive? Does he need to have a soul to play soulful music, or can he be a vampire and play that music?
I mean, you did say that, you know, they don't completely lose their soul, right?
Yeah.
So there still is a little bit of them, that part of them attached to it.
But is that enough to not be able to
I mean,
break the barrier? I don't know.
I mean, because even me, like I was a little confused. Like I get he can play the music strong enough to break the barrier and do this. So this is why they're attracted to him. But does he ever actually really explain what exactly he wanted to do with him? Like, what does that mean? Like he's gonna get him to play the music, and then he's going to then what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what break the barrier to what? Does this mean he's gonna get Sammy to
Bring him to
bring
the
more
devil?
people,
I
or
don't know.
bring
No,
it,
it's a
like
good point.
I wasn't sure.
No, it's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
don't
didn't
know.
really like it. It didn't,
No, it didn't
ruin
bother
it for
me. It was just a question I had.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in my head. I'm
Same.
like, oh, I wonder, like what? Because hey, shout out to Remick too. We not like we didn't skip over it, but like when he was started doing his like Irish jig and everything, and he was
down.
going, I'm like, clearly you need a soul, because what he's doing right now, that should be breaking a barrier.
Yeah,
they were going in out there, man.
Hell
When they
yeah.
started going into their little musical number.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm like, I guess you need a soul.
You even got Michael B. Jordan there doing a
That's
jig.
what I'm saying. Apparently, that was actually the actor too, like the guy that plays Remick. Like
Yeah.
that was like, I mean, I don't know, like, it could have been like a stunt double or something, or maybe I don't know, some kind of CGI thing. But like that was actually him singing and like, or like a voiceover. But that was all him. I'm like, all right,
Nice.
he popped off.
Yeah, the music was great. In
Yeah,
this movie. All of it.
Because I saw them say, because they did a little interview thing with like, oh, who's like the best dancer, and then they all pointed to him. I was like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Nice.
They're like, yeah, that was him doing all the dance moves. I'm like, damn, and everyone's saying he's the best dancer on set.
Damn.
He's got some moves
Got
apparently.
some moves. Okay. Okay, Remick.
Yeah.
So then we get basically the clan that comes back.
Yeah.
And Smoke lights them up.
Yeah.
So I talked about how I felt like this was maybe a little bit shoehorned in, but what'd you think?
Yeah, I was just saying I liked it because again, like to me, this was like that Inglourious Basterds moment where it's like, oh, we're getting, well, spoiler alert for anyone. So let's skip a little bit. If you just burning freaking Nazis or just killing a bunch of Nazis, it's like, I thought it was just like a relief moment. It's like, oh, that's cool. Let's kill some KKK members.
Yeah.
Just a nice little thing. It's him. It's for him just to get out the anger and all the emotions that he has. I think I think that's what that was for that character. It's just like so much shit went wrong. Like this day was messed up. I'm getting all this out, and then
Okay. I do like that last thing you said, because before you said that, you were like, oh, it's a nice little thing. And I was like, that's kind of weak though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's the only reason this is in here, like, oh, okay, let's throw in some KKK members that he can get killed. And obviously he wanted to kill Smoke off.
Yeah.
Which I get. I think, you know, he would obviously be so fucked up from what just happened, right?
Yeah.
His brother is now a vampire. He had to kill his girl. he has this vision with the baby and everything.
Yeah.
So like, I think it was right to kill the character.
Mm-hmm.
But if the only reason was like, okay, we'll have him go out in a firefight with KKK because it's cool.
Yeah.
After this whole movie, that's like, okay, there's so much detail and like depth to it. I was like, that's a little not enough for me. But I like that point that you said where it's like, it's a way for him to like almost not redeem himself, but like maybe internally redeem himself. Where it's like, man, I couldn't keep my brother safe, couldn't keep my girl safe. Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
At least let me take my anger out, mess all these guys up.
No, for sure. And that's the only reason why I disagree with the KKK element, because I just feel like it would just feel so weird. Like, I don't know what a perfect comparison would be. I just go immediately with the German Nazi thing. Where it's just like,
no, it's a good
if it's
comparison.
a specific time period and you have Jewish characters, and then like, I mean, it could be happening anywhere, just how it was, like the climate was at that time. It's just like, there's no way you're not going to see anybody just be rude towards them just for being Jewish. What I mean, and I'm like, the fact that this is based in Mississippi, I was like, it feels so weird if there was just no mention of the KKK or lynchings or anything, or any fear of being harmed for being black. Where it's just like, okay, we gotta add an L. I feel like he felt like, because like he talked about like the reasoning for this, and it was like, we'll talk more about it, like the inspiration for the movie, but he's like, it had to be in Mississippi, and it's just like, the KKK's I gotta write them in here somewhere, because this wouldn't feel real.
I do agree with that. Like it makes sense. Like it's just so around.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah.
In this time and in this place that, like, you're right, it has to be in there somewhere. And I think the Nazi comparison is good because it's one of those things where it's like it's non-debatably these people are wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a debatable thing.
No, for
like,
sure.
Nazis were okay. Like, no, they
yeah.
were fucked up.
Yeah.
KKK is fucked up. Killing them, seeing them killed in a movie, nobody has a problem with. But to me, like almost, okay, here's what I think maybe I would have liked a little more is like, so there was the KKK element. There was also the element of, like I talked about, like, oh, we're not really making that much money. We're gonna end up having to close down in a month or whatever. We're not making enough money. So this is why Mary goes out to talk to the white people and try and get them to spend money to come inside. I feel like that almost felt a little half developed as well. Like the danger almost of like, okay, this isn't actually working. We're not making money of this. That didn't really feel that important to the story. To me, like during the events, the KKK thing, it ends up being important because this is how Smoke dies. Yeah. But if you kind of replace the monetary aspect of it, just have them like, yeah, this is a success. We're making tons of money. This is great. That doesn't change anything about the movie, and replace those moments with a little more of like, okay, this guy mentioned that the guy that we bought this from is going to come back. How do we stop this from happening? You know, like kind of just, we get a little more of the KKK thing to make it, to add a little extra juice to it. I think. Because it's, when they come in, like you said, we're rooting for Smoke. We're like, okay, he's going to kill all these guys. This is great. He's getting his anger out. But there could have been like a little extra thing to it where he's almost like trying to stop them in a sense, or, you know, trying to get around it, because if he kills them all, more people are just going to come. He ends up dying. But like, I don't know.
No, I 100% see your point, and I agree about the money thing. The only thing I think Ryan's thinking is about, like, I'm leaning into this being like horror, and like fear is such a big aspect of the movie. That's just like, he just wants to incorporate so many different elements of fear. It's like the money thing is like, I'm afraid of the Irish and the mob and Al Capone, aka Scarface. I'm afraid of like the KKK. There's the fear of vampires. Just adding all these elements of just like, there's so many things to be worried about. Like, I think it's just adding like this layer of just like everything. Because I think they even have like lines just like, man, like we got to be afraid of everything. Yeah. I think someone says something like that in the movie. I can't remember who it is or like what the exact conversation, but I think there was that element of just like, man, you're a black person in Mississippi or whatever. Like, there's so much things to be afraid of. And like the twins have everything coming at them. They got vampires, they got to worry about the mob, and they also got to worry about the KKK.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good argument. I mean, yeah, I think I'd on my second watch, I'd be looking more for that stuff. Yeah. For like the little things about, like you say, the mob, the KKK, maybe there are a few elements that I missed that would have given a little more. And I do like that point that you made about like fear coming from everywhere. Yeah. Just steeping these guys in conflict. Yeah. I do like that. So, okay, so then we get the post-credit scene. Yeah. With Sammy. I was like, okay, he's still shredding the guitar. This is dope. And then we get Michael or Stack and Mary come in. And what did you think was gonna happen here? Did you think they were gonna get him or?
I didn't know. I liked it. You know what's funny too? I don't know what happened in your theater. Like a lot of people like walked out. Yeah. And I'm just like, yo, dog, wait a little bit. The lights were still off.
That was my thing. I was like, okay, the lights are off. This isn't over. And people were walking out. And then when it came on, everybody stopped. Obviously.
Okay.
And we're like, oh shit.
I think some people were just gone. Some dudes like started dipping out, and like I don't think I saw that dude come back. I'm like, he just missed this whole thing. He thinks the movie ended right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting line. I think what's it called? The part. I think when it was the thing when the guy came in, it's like, oh, two people want to see you. And he's like, as soon as the moment happens, like, all right, you guys can come in. I was like, oh, snap, they're vampires. I didn't know who it was going to be.
Oh, because he invited them in.
Yeah. I was like, oh, snap. Like, me and Eloise both look at each other like, oh. He invited two people. I don't know which vampires. I was like, did somebody survive? We didn't see them burn properly.
Yeah.
And then when those two came in, I was shocked. I didn't realize. Because I was like, oh, they ran away. I thought they just went outside and then they got burned within the crowd. Right. And I was like, but I guess that would make sense. You'd think that we'd show those characters more of a zoom in of them dying. But I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it. I don't know if you were.
No, I wasn't expecting it because, like I said, I thought Stack died. And I didn't realize it in the moment. But you're right. They don't show Mary die.
Yeah.
And she's a main character. So they definitely would if she died. And then they have that flashback of them running away. So I was like, oh, shit. See, she stayed alive. But I was like, I didn't notice it. Because all the other stuff is going on. People are burning and whatever. Remic's burning. And so we just assumed everybody died. Yeah. But you're right. I was like, oh shit, we didn't see Mary die. Okay, they came back. And then they're sitting there with Sammy, and I was like, don't kill him now.
Yeah, I know. I was like, so messed
up.
Like
this is like 60 years later or something like that. And Sammy, he was what I was thinking, because we see him playing the guitar. I was like, did he call them? Like, was he playing the music and then they saw him like Remick did? Like, because he has this power, obviously. But at the same time, I was like, if he's been a musician this whole time, he would have called them a bunch of times.
Yeah, I know, 100%.
Like, why now did they show up?
No, it's true. And then he even mentions it too. He's like, oh, I've been following your career this whole time.
Yeah.
Been listening to you. Which is like, yeah, and again, they're free now. It's like, at the end of the day, it's his cousin. So like, he's like, I have no reason to kill you. Like, I don't want to just kill you just cause. Like, we could just kill a bunch of random people. I don't necessarily want to kill you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he still tries to do the vampire thing. He still tries to convince him. He's like, yeah, you can live forever. And Sammy's like, yeah, I've seen everything. I've seen too much of this world already.
Yeah.
It's like, they still try.
Do you think they are like killing other people though? Like they'll leave Sammy because that's his cousin, like you said, but are they just, is there a whole mob behind them of vampires they've turned?
That's a good question.
Like, can you, is it like a hunger that you have to satisfy, or like?
I was going to say, it depend again, I think it depends on the lore, but
yeah.
In True Blood, for example, like the show that I like, the TV show that came out like years ago, you need blood to survive. Like, you can go wild, you'll start to get hungry, just like a normal person, which is like, okay, I need to eat. Yeah. Otherwise, and like maybe in some they don't actually necessarily need that. They don't really establish this in this movie that people like need to like feed on humans like to survive. So I don't know. They probably have been. Maybe. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, we never really know. And apparently, actually, I read this online after, because I didn't stay after this, but apparently there's a post-credit scene after, like,
oh really,
the end credits.
Oh snap!
So, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, they didn't. Okay, I thought it said like it said what it was.
No, I don't know what it is.
Oh snap! I wonder what it was.
Yeah. If you guys, if any of you stayed till the end and saw it, let us know.
Yeah, damn. Because
I don't know. We'd have to go back and watch it again.
This guy's too incorporated in his Marvel shit, man. Why are you doing?
Did 2 Black Panther movies, and now he's like, I gotta do
now everything's gonna have a post credit. Crazy, man. But I kind of teased this earlier, like the fact that like the inspiration. Do you see what the inspiration was for the movie? It's kind of like a big part of what this scene is too.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so like he talked about how when I think this was on Jimmy Fallon. It was on Jimmy Fallon. He talked about that his Uncle James passed away.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and like it was in 2015 when they were finishing up Creed, and he talked about, like, I teased it how he was born in Mississippi. He was a guy that moved to Oakland, and he's like we used to listen to the blues with him when he'd come over, and like that was always his thing. Like, he used to love listening to blues. He'd come over and all that stuff. And then when he passed away, he felt like the only way, like when he wanted to think about him, he just played those same blues records. And in his words, he was just like, yeah, I felt like I was kind of like conjuring up his spirit. And he's like, then I kind of sat there and thought about like, oh, it sounds like a cool inspiration for a movie, like music being the thing that like brings someone like some kind of supernatural element.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of his inspiration. And he talked about how just like Delta blues specifically, kind of like, and it's so specific to Mississippi, which is why it was done there. And the guy that actually played Sammy was a famous musician that he that his uncle used to listen to all the time.
Right.
Which I thought was crazy. I was like, oh, that's an extra element. Because he's talking about how this movie is just like a love letter to him. So then also getting the guy that his uncle used to listen to in the movie is just like another element. And getting him to play.
Right.
Like just a little moment like just have him play.
Perfect little cameo.
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
Another reason you couldn't kill him.
Yeah.
Don't kill that guy.
No, 100%.
Can't kill him.
No, yeah, I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. No, that is cool. I mean, yeah, I did read that, and like it's a great idea for the movie, and he executes it incredibly. Yeah. But it's a really cool inspiration, and it's nice to know that it comes from a place of love that he, for someone that he loved, that he lost, and like there's real meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Probably another reason why this was such a passion project for him, and he was so specific with the details and so precise with everything because he wanted to make sure like it was close to him, right?
Yeah. No, 100%.
I did have one other fact actually.
Okay.
Just that the working title while shooting was grilled cheese.
What? Was there reasoning or?
Apparently, Coogler said the reason was in his past movies, those are more like full meals that like, have nuance to them and blah, blah, blah. But this is more of like a basic story that anybody can enjoy.
Okay.
Like a grilled cheese.
I thought it was one of those things where like they try to get people not to be interested in what's going on, because I've seen people like they disguise what the movie is. Like we're gonna call it something else. So people are like, oh, what are they shooting over there? Oh, grilled cheese. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Versus like, oh, they're shooting Sinners. But I guess maybe like, oh, they're shooting a Ryan Coogler movie. Then people.
That's
like,
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It was like they're shooting grilled cheese. Oh, who's making it? Coogler with Michael B. Jordan and Hailee Steinfeld. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean, you almost know that it's a working title.
Yeah, not true.
Or even if that is the title, who cares? It's still going to be interesting.
No, that's true. That's hilarious.
I
didn't see that, so that's that's a little tidbit I did not know.
Did you have any other facts?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I guess I've been talking about True Blood a lot. That's why like I brought up this movie. I brought it up so many times because to me it has such a similar element of just like being in the Deep South. Like True Blood is in like South Louisiana, and then this is in like Clarksdale, Mississippi, which they're not too far off from each other. So that it has like that same kind of element. That's why I keep saying I'm like this kind of gives me like True Blood like vibes, and I really love that show. It's a really good show. But
maybe Coogler watched it.
Yeah, maybe. Well. Yeah, maybe. I think that's it. I think that's everything I got though.
All right. Well,
as
then
far as facts go.
Time for the Filmmies.
Let's get into the Filmmies.
Once again, we are recording this in person, so every time we do this, we're just gonna like chuckle at this time because the music that you would have just heard, we did not just hear.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, it's that time of the show. It's time for the Filmmies. This is a part of the show where me and Scott give out 6 awards to the movie. What's it called? We don't actually know what each other's awards are, and we teased Jamari's awards, so we're gonna give those out too. And when we both get the same award, maybe even Jamari, I guess, are we going to make it all 3 of us or just the 2 of us?
No.
For this? He's not here. Yeah. If he was a guest, yeah.
And also he sent us these, so I already knew them.
Oh, okay. So. I didn't even look at them because I didn't know if we were going to do that or not, just in case.
I looked at them. But,
okay.
No, but I'm glad you didn't.
Okay.
So it'll be a
so if we both go get them, what we're talking about is something becomes certified. So if it's your first time listening, you hear the sound effect, then you'll know. So Scott, starting off with our first award, we have our Ferris Bueller Award. So this award is an award we give out for our lazy moment. Something that we didn't find ruin the movie, just like a little funny thing we wanted to point out, but it could go to a writer, director, actor, whoever it is. And what was your Ferris Bueller, Scott?
Mine, I gave to the survivors, the people in the barn.
Okay.
And it's for throwing that guy outside. They did not check. They did not check nothing. They were like, they saw this guy. They're like, oh, there's a guy sitting here. They're like, who bit him? Like,
yeah.
Oh, maybe Mary bit him. Like, no, she ran outside right away. So they even said that. You eat him outside. And then they even come back. They're like, wait, is that blood?
Yeah.
And then they like smell it, or they never really say what it is. Maybe it's grease or something. Yeah. But they're like, they just threw him outside. They didn't even check if he got bit or anything. They killed that guy.
Yeah.
Because of laziness.
That's actually really good. It's very glaring, And I don't know why I didn't think of that. I already like yours more than mine, because mine I was kind of just like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do here.
I was like that for a while. Like I came out of the theater, I was sitting in my car, I was putting some notes together, and I was like, what was lazy? And I didn't have nothing. I was like, shoot, I thought I was maybe gonna give it to Pearline for not eating the garlic. I was like, but she ends up doing it, whatever. And then I thought of this, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
They just threw this guy out to the wolves, man.
That's a good one. No, I really like that. Mine, mine doesn't compare now.
That's
okay. But anyway, mine I gave to Grace Cho.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like I was kind of fishing with this one. To me, it was for not having a plan. You know what I mean? Like, she just screamed like, let's let these vampires in. But I was like, wait, can we just like talk about what we're gonna do first, kind of thing? Yeah. Like, we're still kind of setting up. There was no like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Like, they're not going anywhere. Like, they want us to invite them in. Like, I don't know if that the whole daughter thing was for sure. I get her fear because your daughter was mentioned, and like she was even like calling out, like, I thought you were a soldier. I'm like, okay, gross. Yeah, she's like, were you a soldier too? Like, damn, like she's so hard.
She's tough, man.
She is tough. But yeah, I'm giving her a lazy award for just like not being like, let's come up with a quick plan. Let's see what we're gonna do.
The pushback I would give to you though is that like, if she comes in like, okay, I'm gonna let them in, let's make a plan. They'd be like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? True. They just like tie her up or whatever, like gag her so she can't yell and be like, no, you're not letting them in. Fuck your plan. Like, no,
that's fair. That's fair. It did kind of seem like they were kind of ready for, well, actually, no, they weren't really ready for it, but it's like once she said it, like, okay.
Yeah, then they're like, well, shit. Let me grab my guns, grab this steak, and like, because whether we're ready or not, they're coming in.
Yeah. So again, I don't love it. That's why I said I didn't love it. That's why I like yours more, because I was kind of just like,
See, I often wonder, and like, it's our podcast, we could do whatever we want, but like, are we allowed to like change it? Like, if I have one written down and you have a great award, should I just be like, I think I have done that actually before.
Maybe, but then I think we didn't want to.
It's like, a fake certified.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel as genuine. It's like, you know what? I actually like yours more. Let's do it. So, but what was Jamari's?
Jamari's was let me see, Ferris Bueller. Very similar to yours. Grace Chow inviting the vampires in. I felt that it kind of really sped up the film in a not so great way. Totally disagree. I was talking about how it was too slow. I didn't think that they were not going to come outside, so it was slow for me. So I disagree with you there, Jamari. I would have had a more methodical approach from the vampires getting in instead of her just losing her shit.
See, that's what I was. That's kind of
what
I don't agree for specifically his reasonings, but like I was like, you don't want to have like some of a plan first. So I guess it's similar. So
I think his is more like in the movie they could have had a cooler way of inviting.
No, 100%, which is fair. Yeah. So is he giving it to Ryan then?
I guess so. See, because I liked her losing. Like, it made sense to me, right? Like, she even says, she's like, man, my husband's gone. They're gonna go get my daughter. Fuck this. Yeah. Like, what am I even worried about surviving for? Like, get the fuck in here. I'm gonna burn alive while I kill my husband.
No, that's fair.
Tough.
All right. Shout out Jamari. We're kind of similar.
Yeah.
Kind of similar. Our next award we have is fit check. So pretty self-explanatory. So what was your favorite fit of the movie?
I gave it to this was a tough one for me.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
I gave it to Stack Suit.
Okay.
So it's the red one, the red brother.
Yeah.
So it's a dark blue pinstripes.
Yeah.
With the red hat, red tie. The tie even has like a gold pin through it.
Yeah, that's
fucking dope.
Yeah.
There's a chain like across his chest. I don't even know what that's connecting to, but it looked hard.
I don't know. I guess the vest, is it connecting to the vest?
It's the vest to, but the vest to what?
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what it's connecting to, but it looked cool. Yeah, he's got the 3-piece suit and the red with the dark blue went really well. The gold pin through the tie I really liked. Hard. He even had a grill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
His fit was tough.
No, it's tough, and I completely agree because. That's also mine.
Let's go. That's certified, baby.
I mean, it was the same thing as like, which twin do you like more? And to me, I think it was just...
That actually wasn't mine.
Oh, it wasn't yours?
The other one, the one that I would have given to was in the post-credit when he comes through. He's got the crazy sweater on and the glasses.
Yeah, that's
the
fair.
Stack like brass knuckle.
Yeah, when he puts on the money.
That was crazy.
I was like, oh, okay, all right. That was hard. I like that.
Yeah.
No, this exact same reason. To me, it was between the brothers, and I went that way, and yeah, no argument.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at you if you gave it to Smoke. His fit was also clean.
What about Jamar? I think I did see Jamari's though. But
he did what, like I said, I was maybe gonna do. He gave it to the post credit scene.
Okay, yeah.
He said Michael B. and Hailee Steinfeld's. So
okay,
fucking pick one, man. But
we'll just go with Michael because I feel like Hailee's was just like it was
all right.
It was okay.
Jeans and a jacket.
Yeah,
whatever. It was okay. Okay.
We're telling him which one that he was award with.
Yeah.
We know you meant Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
All three different. So I don't know. Us two are
ours
the
is the
same.
same. And this is certified because Jamari's wrong.
Yeah. All right. People are gonna want to give in their awards.
Yeah.
No.
Hey,
no, we only roast Jamari. Anyone else, we won't do this.
For anyone, if this is your first episode, Jamari is our boy.
Exactly.
That we're close with.
Yeah,
he was actually on the. He was our first guest ever.
Yeah.
On the Transformers episode. So shameless plug. Go check that one out.
Yeah.
But you're right. This isn't like someone that just sent in their.
Yeah, we just bury.
And we're just burying them. This is our. Hey, you know what? No, if you're a member of the film family and you send in a comment, you are liable to get roasted.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's family.
Yeah, you can roast us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can roast you. It's fair.
100%. Our next one we have another self-explanatory award is our favorite quote. So Scott, what was the quote that stuck out to you in this movie?
I realized that I said it as we were going through the movie, which I guess isn't a problem, but it's Sammy when he was hitting on Pearline at the start. She says, I'm married, by the way. She doesn't seem married. She didn't. She was into him. Yeah. And he just says, happily. I was like, okay, Sammy.
Yo, Sammy had a deep ass voice, man.
Hell
yeah. My goodness.
And when he was singing, it was like it would stay deep and monotone, but like smooth. Like he was a great singer.
Yeah, no,
and
he put on a clinic.
He was cooking.
He didn't get an award. I'll just say that for me, but that's why I'm just gonna say it out. Maybe you give him, but I want to give some props. Just like for a guy that was in his first role. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
for a guy in his first role, that was the good performance
for sure.
Yeah, and his funny moments, his serious moments, like I felt like he performed well.
In the music,
100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's his mo, the music. So
that's why we saw Stack like.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, snap!
So my favorite quote I actually gave to Remick.
Okay.
So, and it was kind of me tapping into the whole glamour thing. I already explained what the glamour was earlier, but his quote was when he said, "New life, like free of hate." So he's tapping into like the element, obviously, of like the fear of like, hey, like how you can live forever, and it's also like because he kind of talks about the KKK thing. And then, like, it's that glamour thing, which I haven't really seen in vampire like lore because I've never really seen like a black vampire movie. I've seen movies with vampires in it. Movies with vampires with black people in it. Like even True Blood, there's a lot of black people in it, but it wasn't in the 30s, right? In Mississippi. So a vampire basically saying like, hey, if you become one of us, like we're all a community, man. Like we don't see color. Like there's no race thing here. Like imagine you could be with us and like you don't have to even worry about the KKK and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff's done. Like we got KKK members here. They're not even part of that anymore. Now we're just like vampires. Like this is a new world. And that sounds crazy at that time. Like the Jim Crow's going on all that stuff and like all the immigrants, like everyone feels the racial divides and like with everybody. So he's like, that's that element of him with the glamour. It's like it really taps into that aspect of like, vampires are always just trying to convince you, and then he's tapping into the racial commentary that's going on in the world. Where he's just like, "Hey, new world, new life, no hate."
He's a smart guy. This is what I was talking about. Like in that first scene when he's trying to get invited by the white people into their house, he's cunning.
Yeah,
like that's a very cunning move, right? To take this aspect of the black experience, in this time, in this place, and be like, here, I'm providing a solution. To this problem.
100%.
Yeah, I like that.
It's that sneaky element with the vampires. What did Jamar go with?
This was Jamari and Sabrina. He credits Sabrina with this one. So this is one of Hailee Steinfeld's crazy lines.
Oh my! All right.
So this is Mary's. I almost wrote this one down. You stuck your tongue in my coos, then fucked me hard and left.
That's crazy.
You stuck your tongue in my coos. You can't say that in 1930.
Yeah, I don't even know.
There's no way that was ever said in
I don't even know what a coos is.
You know what a coos is. You know what a coos is.
All right.
Just from the context, what do you think a coos is?
I don't know if she means something else. I don't know if it.
I guess that's true.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know which one the coos is.
That's what I mean. That's why maybe she's saying, you stuck your tongue in my coos and you left. That's why I don't know. What's the tone here? Is it like, you even like, I don't know. Maybe it's better we don't know. Then we search it later. It's just funnier that way because I don't know what a coos is.
It's one of two things.
It's one of two things. And then we'll let us know. Then I'll be like, damn, you really, and you left? I don't know, bro. But that's a good quote.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I wasn't sure if it was gonna be. I gotta shout this one out because this one was crazy. It's just like you sold that money, but you can't steal this pussy. And I was like,
that was crazy.
It's like, all right.
Isn't that what seduced him?
Yeah.
And he was that got him.
Yeah, he's like,
see, because that's one where you're not only trying to seduce, like that is, if your girl says that to you, you're like, damn. But also you're challenging his manhood a little bit.
Yeah.
Like almost like you can't, like you won't do it. You can't do it. That's a good way to get any guy to do anything. No. Tell him he can't do it.
No,
you won't do it.
No, 100%.
That was tough.
That was the thing that like confused me a little bit because like in that moment I was like, wait, which relationship does he have with the brothers again? I don't know. In that moment I was just confused because like that's the brother she didn't have a relationship with.
No, that's the one she did.
But I thought, why was he looking up at his brother then?
Because his brother did not want him to be with Mary. That's true. Because he knows it's trouble.
I'm confusing myself. Let's move on. Yeah. I know I'm trying to confuse myself. Our next award we have is the Sixth Man. I say this all the time, but not for long. It's our AK, our Nas Reed Award. We probably still got like 4 more weeks until that. Actually, no, it's probably pretty soon when they're announcing Sixth Man.
Did they do that before the end of the finals?
I don't know, but anyway, the Sixth Man we give out to someone that we thought showed out in the movie that didn't have a big role. It was a smaller role. They could still have a big role, but we basically just not the main characters usually, or the director or the writers. Basically, kind of roll with it. So, who got your Sixth Man?
Mine, I gave to you. Talked about him actually, Buddy Guy.
Okay,
so he's the he plays Old Sammy in the post credit scene, and not so much for his performance in the scene. I mean, he was good in the scene. He was whatever.
Yeah, limited role.
But I mean, just having a legendary Chicago blues guitarist, singer. Yeah. Like you said, this is someone that Ryan Coogler's uncle listened to. So
shout out Uncle James.
Shout out Uncle James. So getting him in the movie, I like that was a little touch that I read after. I didn't know when I watched it. But, and also, it's the fact that he obviously contributed to blues music at the time. He was born in the 30s.
Yeah.
And that... So he obviously had an influence on blues music, which is massive in this movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I give him credit partly for that aspect of this movie.
Yeah,
so he's my Sixth Man.
No, that's a good Sixth Man, and like even too, like I always knew that there was like this element of like how important, because Ryan Coogler says in an interview actually about how like he's like Delta blues specifically is like the original form of blues, and then it kind of spread out, which is like any kind of genre where it's just like you have rock and then it turns into like metal and all these different aspects. He's like, this was like kind of like the foundation of all music. He's like, because blues turned into like rock music with rock and roll and Elvis and all that stuff like that, and then the rocks turned into all these things. And he's like, and if it wasn't for the blues, there would be like no R&B, because the same kind of like social commentary and like rap music. And he talked about, he's like, it's the most important piece of music like for all genres. It's the origin of like all music. I was like, that's a tough. I mean, it's pretty true. Like if you do a double feature of like you watch this and then you watch like the Elvis movie or something, you can see that because there's so much of the blues elements that starts off in Elvis too, and then it turns into rock and roll and all that stuff. And Chuck Berry too. Chuck Berry was a big part of it. I don't want to give it all to Elvis. Because in the end, it was him like looking over and be like, oh, I like what these guys are doing. Yeah. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because then I really looked into it after. I went into a deep dive after you said that. I'm like, cool. Oh, it is kind of true. Like there is like it's crazy to think like the evolution of music, because we're now, when we were born, it's all been here. Yeah. We never really saw new genres form when we grew up. Everything was just kind of there. Maybe EDM. Yeah. That's kind of the only thing we saw form.
Yeah.
Trap music.
Yeah, I guess.
Auto-tune rap.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
We didn't really get the best.
Trap I guess is a new form of like hip hop.
Yeah, I guess it's EDM and like auto-tune rap.
Yeah.
Which someone's good, some's not.
Like anything.
Yeah, true, like anything. But that's one. I like that. It's a good Sixth Man. What did Jamari do?
Well, who was yours?
I thought I said mine.
Did you? I don't think so.
Oh no, I didn't. Go do Jamari's anyway.
Okay.
Now I already fucked up the flow.
All right. Who's his? His is Delta Slim, Delroy Lindo. But Sabrina gave it to Grown Up Sammy at the end. That was
okay. Yeah.
That extra bit pushed the movie from a 7 to an 8 for him. He says.
Oh, all right.
Or for her? I don't know. Yeah, for her.
Okay.
For her.
Okay, I like that. Oh, shout out Oscar.
Shout out Oscar. If you're watching online, he just made an appearance.
His dog. If you're
this is my dog. My dog Oscar. Yeah, he just came to say what's up.
So I gave my Sixth Man to Terry. So this is again an epitome of a Sixth Man. It's the guy that is robbing the car and gets shot in the ass, and it's just the line where he eats that bullet, like he barely moves, just like he falls to the ground or anything. It's just like, it made me think of what's it called? Again, spoiler for if you haven't seen Training Day, you can skip over this. When he gets shot in the ass, that moment's like, shot me in my ass. It just made me laugh. And I'm like, that was it. The movie guy was in the movie for just for that moment. And that you shot me in the ass line just had me dying. I was like,
nice.
That's a little moment. I'm going to take a note of that. That's probably going to be my sixth man.
I like it. Yeah,
So
I
gave it to him.
The perfect sixth man. He's in the movie for 2 seconds.
Yeah, has a
His
couple
only
lines.
job is to get shot in the ass and like kind of like, oh, Smoke, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. Blah 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 blah. You shot me in the ass. Good pick.
Our next award, we got 2 left, is we have our best scene. So what was your favorite scene from the movie?
My favorite scene was when Sammy plays a song and he pierces the veil and all the different musicians and dancers pop up, and in this long shot it ends with the camera going up into the sky and then backing down with the building burning and everything. Like, it just, to me, it was Coogler's direction was 10 out of 10 in this moment, because when Sammy starts singing, right, I didn't know that this was going to end up happening, that we were going to physically see them like conjuring spirits. They said that the music can happen, that this is canon for the story, that this can happen. I didn't know we were going to see it. So he starts doing it. Then we first see that guy with the guitar, that future guy. And I was like, oh, snap, I guess he's doing that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the camera starts to move around, and then we see the guy with the turntables. And then we see like the guys in all red and the guys in all blue, and there's B-boys, and then you get the African people with playing different instruments and different dances. You get the Asian dancer coming in, like the camera just moving through the building.
Yeah.
And they're entering and exiting the scene so seamlessly. Like, it didn't feel like they were, like they just popped up.
Yeah.
It felt like they were in the building the whole time. We just didn't see them.
No, 100%.
And then the camera gets onto them and then goes into the different room. It was perfect. I loved it.
No, I was hyping up earlier. So the freaking Martin Scorsese, the Martin Scorsese meme. I was like, it was. Yeah, I know it was wild. It was so well done. I didn't know we were gonna get future music too.
Yeah,
I was expecting. I was like, okay, we're rocking with like the old school and like the original forms, and we're gonna see all that. But then, once started the new school stuff coming in, like the B-boys and stuff, I was like, oh damn, we're going here.
Yeah,
I was waiting for like Kendrick to come on or something.
Oh shit, a little Kendrick cameo.
Yeah,
that'd been cool.
This guy, man, he did the soundtrack for Black Panther. So I was like, yo, can we do a little? Imagine like Not Like Us comes in. No, that'd be too much. Ding, ding, ding.
Yo, Drake got to go into hiding after that point, man. The Super Bowl. Like, damn. That would have been a cool little cameo, though, having Kendrick in there.
Yeah.
Or like a real, like a current artist.
No, 100%. Yeah. But no, that's a great scene. I really like that scene, too. Yeah. I purposely let you go off because my favorite scene was Delta Slim telling the story. I kind of let you break it up because then, like,
good. Yeah.
You basically said all the points why I liked it, too. It's like I think there's the other elements of like, not only did they have like the sound effects of the story and everything. I like what it basically, for anyone that didn't, I mean, I'm sure you know what the blues is. Like, it's people kind of just like, especially with on the end of the Jim Crow era, just singing about their experiences. Yeah. It's sad music for the most part, and how they immediately went into song. You know what I mean? He's telling that terrible story that he went through. And immediately thing he goes to is singing, because that's what you do, man. That's what the blues is. It's like, even like a lot of those songs, like there's like slave songs, you know what I mean? It's like, as they're in the field, as they're doing hard work, they start singing, because that's like, and he's telling the tough story, and immediately he's like, all right, I need to get into my singing. And then Sammy starts playing, and I'm like, yeah, this is the blues.
Cinema.
Yeah, sure. Like, it is cinema, but like, this is the blues. This is showing you what it is. It's just like sad times. All right, let's start singing.
Let's sing
man.
about it, because because like, you're right, like this, like a slave song, this is all you have. They can't take that from you. They can't. I mean, they could stop you from doing it, by punishing you. But like, at the end of the day, you can always do this. You have your voice, even if you don't have instruments, you can sing about it. And I talked about it so much because I loved it too. It was so well put together, and like that touch of like the sound was really, really cool. And you're right, just putting on screen the experience of the blues itself. Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I went with it.
Good pick. I like
Thank
that.
You. Appreciate it. And Jamari?
Jamari went with mine. Okay. Preacher Boys singing and breaking down the veil of life and death. Love seeing all the different styles collide, and that song was just amazing. Facts. Yeah, like I said, when he started singing that, I was like, this is worthy of conjuring some spirits.
Yeah, 100%.
My theater was getting a little shaky. Yeah.
No, there's
some blood coming down the walls, man. There was some spirits coming in my theater.
If you saw, I wonder, he mentioned if you go see the movie in 4D that you'll get sprayed with some stuff, like red stuff. I'm like, that seems inconvenient. Like, I don't want to get sprayed by red.
4D is the worst.
Yeah, like maybe do the water thing. Like, I get what you're doing. I don't want to be sprayed with red.
No.
Because I gotta dress
clothes are messed
appropriately. Like
up,
give me
and-
like
yeah.
a what's it called, a poncho,
poncho.
maybe. I don't know, but still, that's kind of annoying.
Like in the
But-
splash zone at SeaWorld or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's a great scene. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at that.
Yeah, so he agreed with me and like, but yeah, 4D's terrible.
Yeah, go see it in IMAX.
Facts. Go see it in IMAX.
Last but not least, we have our MVP. So who gets your MVP?
My MVP goes to Coogler.
Okay.
I don't think there's any surprise here. The fact that he wrote and directed.
Yeah.
I talk about how so well written the characters were great. Every shot you could just tell had so much thought go into it.
Oh, yeah.
Like even the very first shot of the movie, we see Sammy drive up, and then it pans to the church, and it's perfectly center framed, and then we walk through the doors with him as we're entering. Like, just every piece of this movie was so well thought of.
Yeah.
And the way he used the entirety of the screen, like you talked about, some IMAX movies, they're not really doing that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's shot in IMAX, but it doesn't have to be. This one, like, you see it in IMAX, it makes a difference. And his direction, lots of long takes with the camera moving through this small space. You talk about that, how that would have been a difficulty. I talk about how some of the decisions maybe I didn't love, but maybe on a second watch I would realize a little bit more. But his direction was 10 out of 10 on this movie. Like, I feel like any great screenplay you give him, he's going to elevate. And this is a screenplay that he wrote and is great. So it just takes it to that even next level. He murdered this.
100%.
Is so good.
And even with you talking about second watch too, there's not many movies that when after you watch it, you're curious immediately to watch. Yeah, you might necessarily gonna jump in like the next week or next day or anything, but like the fact that we're even saying that, like we're already acknowledging we're gonna watch. I could watch this movie again within this year. There's certain movies that like maybe I really enjoy, but it was like an awesome action movie. It's like I don't really need to watch it again for like it could literally be like a year or two, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. This movie, it's just like, you know what, I wouldn't be opposed to watching it again because maybe I want to see, because I know there's so much depth. We talked about the death baby thing. Like, we didn't even notice that.
Facts.
And then when you watch it again, then you'd be like, oh, I didn't even notice that. Like, so if Eloise wasn't there, I still wouldn't have known that. And we would have talked about that and just went over it.
And we would be
like,
confused. We'd be like, because like I said, I thought that was his dad.
yeah, and people in the comments would be like, that wasn't his dad. And
Yeah.
like, you guys are bozos, unsubscribe.
Damn.
But no, but-
Eloise saving.
yeah, Eloise saved it. Maybe there's some other stuff we missed too. You know what I
100%.
mean? That's why
I'm sure
this
there
is
is.
one of those movies where it's like, oh, I definitely could watch this second watch. and
Absolutely.
within this year, and not even be like, oh yeah, I got something else from this watch.
Yeah, and
100%.
this is his. He has his, like I said, like you can, if you're watching this movie and paying attention, you could see his fingerprints all over this.
Oh, 100%.
You could see just like this is a conscious decision that was made.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, okay, this is the story. We're gonna tell the story, and we're just gonna slap a camera in front of these guys and in front of these actors and tell the story. And like, no, how am I gonna shoot this?
Yeah.
How do I want you to move? How are we gonna incorporate this? How are we gonna? Everything was just so well thought of.
100%, 100%. And I mean, clearly my MVP is also Ryan Coogler.
Bang,
Let's
another
go.
certified.
Let's
Let's
go. Yeah, that we were just talking about it. That's why I didn't even bother. I was like, let me just keep talking about it, and we'll just talk about why
And
it
then
is
you can
so
tell
great.
me-
And then I'll tell you that, yeah, obviously,
it's
it's
Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. I thought about giving it to Michael B. Jordan because it was a great performance too. Playing two different characters, like I thought
We
pretty
didn't even talk about
seamlessly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd you think
it's
he
like
did?
I thought he did really well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he established those characters. Obviously, you had to have them wearing different things too, just because that could be very confusing.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, it's like it's the same guy, so like he has to wear something different. So that other element, but like just the way the characters are, you knew the way they were acting, how they were different, and it looked just visually, it looked really good too.
Facts.
Like in scenes, it's just like I don't know. Like usually there's always like this kind of like this line where it's like they can't touch because that will like throw off the thing. But like there were so many teams where like, they hand each other things or like they embraced, and it's just like it was so done so seamlessly. It was like, oh look, they're purposely covering his face right there. I'm like, no, I can see both their faces. They're really close. It just the technology is really good. I saw they were using like this different like thing they called it like the halo that was like kind of like wrapped around him, like it looked like a freaking saw trap, and it's just like constantly like taking pictures, and he acted with that on, and like I still don't understand the technology. There's no videos out on it, so I'm curious to see what it is, like how they did it. It just
But you're right.
It was seamlessly well.
Yeah, you're right. It was seamless. Like there was no points where I was like, "Ooh, that's a little off."
Yeah.
There was, at no point did I think that. And you're right. There's also no point where you're like, "Okay, that's clearly a double."
Yeah.
Like it's just the back of his head or
Exactly.
something. Like there's no points like that.
Nah.
So the technology was great. I thought his performance was really good too. You're talking about like you could tell which brother he is. Yeah, they have the blue and red thing,
Yeah.
but you almost kind of don't need that. And like we just did Mickey 17 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the same thing. Like Pattinson was great. You could tell which one he was.
Yeah.
This one you could tell which one he was too. Like we pointed out the moments, like when he sees Sammy in the car for the first time, like, whoa.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I thought he was really good.
Yeah,
he was really good.
I just want to give him some love because he didn't end up getting any of my awards.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
He got fit.
True, he got fit.
Yeah, and Jamari.
And Jamari's MVP goes to the soundtrack / music department. So I guess Ludwig. Gave it to Ludwig. The storytelling they did through the film's music and soundtrack was perfect, in my opinion. It really added to the story, especially through side characters having memories or stories play out in the background as they are speaking or telling you about themselves.
Yeah. It's a good
No
pick.
complaints. No complaints. We talked about the music was great.
Yeah. No, that's our guy. Yeah, we mentioned Hans, we mentioned Ludwig. Like those are our guys. Like
Yeah.
I didn't until I watched this movie, I didn't realize. I started looking back. It's like, oh, he's done every single one of his movies. And
Everyone.
Then they put out that interview. Like literally, I saw the interview dropped like 50 minutes ago, and I was like, oh snap! It's an interview with the two of them talking about how they met and their relationship. I was like, oh, they're boys.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like one of those things like you're in the industry and like, oh, I like this guy. I'm gonna stick with them. They knew each other since college. I'm like, oh.
Right.
Because I'm like, I knew this dude was a Swedish dude. This dude's from Oakland, so I was like,
How are they?
I didn't think they were boys, but it makes sense. You can go to school and
Right.
then meet from like people come from all different walks of life. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. He Ludwig definitely deserves some love.
Yeah.
For what he did.
It wasn't more valuable than Coogler.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Again, Jamari, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But but I'm glad you gave him some love. You see, the music was great, and Ludwig killed it, 100%.
Oh, no, that's funny.
All right, well, any final thoughts? Sinners.
The last thing I will say, and this is my issue with not all, because some marketing teams do it right. The trailer.
Okay.
The original. I think the first trailer they put out, their teaser trailer, was phenomenal. I don't know if you remember the initial. I don't know if you even saw it. The initial trailer is literally the scene of that dude banging on the door, being like, "Yo, come on, let me in, man, let me in, man," and them like kind of debating it. I'm like, you don't see the vampire, you don't know what he's so afraid of. You don't even know if it's gonna be vampires.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's really good. And then you get the other months where you get a little more of the characters. It's like we ain't twin, like we cousins or whatever. Like little goofy stuff. Okay, you've seen a little bit of that. What I didn't like, but around some of the final trailers, is seeing that one of the brothers turns.
Yeah.
And seeing that Hailee Steinfeld turns.
Yeah.
No reason to show that.
Yeah.
No reason to show that. Show that they're in the movie, and then in the movie, me wonder who was gonna turn.
Right.
When she's like, I'm gonna go talk to them, I'm just really like, she's gonna get gone.
She's done.
Yeah. There would have been a little element of me thinking like, maybe she won't get out of this because it's one of the main characters, and you think maybe there's a little plot armor. I don't know. I knew immediately.
Right.
And then when she came back in, I'm like, okay, well, she's turning one of the brothers also.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. Why put that in the trailer? It doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Is it like, oh, I'm going to go watch this movie now that I know Haley's going to be a vampire. Now I got to go.
Right.
Like, what does it do to the trailer?
Right. I mean, we were just, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I think trailers are starting to give away way too much.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, you notoriously, you don't like trailers, and this is the reason.
Yeah.
Me, I love trailers. I love, like, I want to see it because I feel actually very confident in my ability of calling if a movie's going to be good or not from the trailer. Mm-hmm. But so I like to watch a trailer and then discern if I'm interested or not, if I think it's going to be good or not. But too much is too much.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like seeing major characters and what's going to happen to them. Come on, guys. What are we doing?
Yeah. Like, I don't understand that thought process there. It's like certain things I understand, but this is just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the Amateur, for example. We talked about how that was a good trailer. Just an example. Yeah. But maybe you don't show one of the kills.
Right.
I don't know. Because that's a bit. How is this guy going to kill people? He's an amateur. Well, let's show you how he does one of them.
Exactly.
He's only going to do a couple, but let me show you one of them. I'm just like, maybe don't show that. Maybe show kind of like a lead up. Something. I don't know. I just feel like just go tease a little bit. If the traction's low, it's like, okay, I guess we got to put out this. Maybe the traction was low for this movie.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I can see it from both sides because at the end of the day, they need to sell the movie.
Yeah.
That's the point of the trailer. And they don't really care if you don't want the spoiler or not. At the end of the day, you bought the ticket and saw the movie.
It's fair.
So it did its job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it from both sides. It's tough.
Yeah. What they don't know is that as soon as they announced that Ryan Coogler was making a movie, I was probably going to check it out anyway.
Yeah, but you're a movie guy.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So that's
my two piece.
They're trying to get the casuals. They're trying to get as many people.
I'll always be talking about trailers on this podcast.
Yeah.
If it's a good trailer or not, just because.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what gets people in the door. You know.
I mean, we're getting Like with Marvel, I feel like I'm getting the whole movie now these
all
days.
The time.
Like Superman just put like a freaking 10-minute or 5-minute sneak peek or whatever. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I know. It's Superman.
Like people are gonna go watch Superman. What are we doing?
That's all I'm saying. That's all I got though.
All
Not
right.
to end on a bad note. The movie was great. I'm just talking about the trailer.
This movie was great.
Yeah.
Go check it out. I mean, if you're this part of the episode, I'm sure you've already
we
seen
always
it.
say this too.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're Sinners again. One of my. What's your next most anticipated movie now? Because this was. I'm sure. I know you were looking forward to this a lot too. So what's next?
Well, you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited for the ballerina movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's actually the next movie. I'm just thinking on the top of my head. I don't know if there might be a movie that I'm excited about that's coming up before that, but because you put me on the spot, I don't know.
Well, there's Thunderbolts if you're excited for that.
I'm not that excited for it.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for ballerina because the John Wick movies for me have not done me wrong. I've thoroughly enjoyed all of them, so I'll say that. There probably is something. It might be actually Final Destination that I think that comes out before. So I'm actually pretty
Mission
excited about
Impossible is
Final
also
Destination.
before. I don't know how excited
For
you are
ballerina.
that. Yeah, the
I'm
Final
excited about
Reckoning.
that too. I'm excited about that. I actually think it's actually Final Destination. I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that series. We're talking to horror movies. I'm a horror movie guy. I like that franchise, so
all right.
I'm excited for that. What about you? Is yours Mish?
Ballerina as well.
Mm-hmm.
As of now I've only seen the first Mission Impossible, so I'm going to watch the rest of them before that one comes out. So I wouldn't. As of now, I'm not like mega invested because I haven't seen the other ones. I'm going to watch them, but Superman as well. Fantastic Four I'm interested in, but like
we could do a whole episode on this. Honestly, just talking about
new
upcoming
movies
that we're excited for. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Thinking about it.
Yeah.
We're on pod
brainstorming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are getting a little behind the scene.
Well, that's gonna do it for us then.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed Sinners. Hit us with your thoughts if you agree or disagree with some of the points that we made. If you want to give us your awards like Jamari and Sabrina did, feel very free. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review, like you would maybe give this movie 5 stars. It's still at like 99 on Rotten Tomatoes or something. Like it's high.
That's pretty high. Yeah,
just like this podcast content. 5 stars, baby.
Facts.
Leave a written review and we'll shout you out on the podcast. We will see you next week for much more. And over to Dion. What do you got for us to close it out?
Hailee Steinfeld had a lot of wild lines, and I just want you to remember that if you're not afraid to steal some money, you shouldn't be afraid to steal. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Peace.
Later.